Give me that finger.
This is sponsor time. Brought to you by sponsors. Sponsors. It's what's for sponsor. This episode of Designers of the Worst is brought to you by Dr. Tracy's Chunky Milk. With 8 grams of protein per slurp, some vitamins, some minerals, and a tangy taste with every gulp. What's not to love? When you want to get your chew on, reach for a bag of Dr. Tracy's Chunky Milk. Find it at your local grocer or behind Doug the Dumpster Juicer. Let's start the show.
Hello to you all, gentle friends. You're back with Designers Are the Worst, your new least favorite show about an exclusively visual medium cleverly brought to you in audio format. And today...
What do you want to see?
How about sack lunch?
How about The English Patient? It's up for all those Oscars.
Oh, come on, Blaine. I mean, look at the poster for sack lunch.
It's a family in a brown paper bag.
Don't you want to know how they got in there?
No.
It's movie poster topic today. Surprisingly enough, when I thought, hey, what's an audio clip I could pull that has anything to do with movie posters?
Right.
I said, well, what about Sack Lunch? And yet they certainly did discuss the movie poster in that clip.
That show, they went to the movies a lot.
Yeah.
Rochelle was
A young girl's erotic journey from Milan to Minsk.
yeah.
No, Threat Level Midnight was Michael Scarn.
Yeah. No, yeah. But what was
the one when Kramer? Oh, Death Blow.
Yes.
That was one they kept seeing.
What was the one that Jerry recorded? Was that Death Blow?
Oh, that could have been. And then he got.
And then the guy was asking him to keep doing it.
Yeah, up to the big leagues.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're joining us for the first time, we just recap our memory of Seinfeld episodes for about 3 hours. Sure, it's not as accurate as anybody would like, but it keeps us off the streets. But yeah, so today we are going to be talking about... Oh, where's my microphone? There it is. We're going to be talking about movie posters.
Yeah.
And the evolution of them and why they suck now. I actually found a good video clip I want to go through about... There's a guy, he just breaks down like every type of movie poster.
Like that's out right now or over the eras?
Over the eras, but like kind of how things are phoning it in and suck now.
Yes.
And how it's just like a basic template. And then after I watched the clip a few days ago, I went on to iTunes and just went through all the covers. I'm like, yep. They just like follow the same formula.
Yeah.
So it's a real fascinating, lazy journey into the science of making Matthew McConaughey cross his arms and lean up against a girl while they do a face of wah, wah.
The back-to-back rom-com.
Yeah.
One of the many lazy poster tropes.
Yeah, it's not good for movie posters, and then it's not good for wiping. You don't wipe back to back.
No, you wipe
That's just called spackling.
back to front, always. Wait, how would you wipe back to back? That's
Spackle.
a side. Oh, well, it's a
Sponge.
sideways.
I guess.
Like a Debbie Travis.
Yep.
Making patterns on your wall. So before we started recording, we were talking about The League briefly.
Yeah, if you haven't watched The League, then stop work, stop everything.
But it's only for one person
Yeah.
to watch the show.
Ruxin, Taco.
More Ruxin than Taco.
I enjoy Taco quite a bit.
Cramps.
But yeah, The League is... I started watching it years ago when I was working because I like to have something on like the side screen. It's my side piece, and that's a cool thing. And I saw it was a show that had like 4 seasons. I'm like, cool, I'll give it a shot, and if it works, I'll just let it play all day. And it turned out that it was a goddamn delight.
Yes.
If anyone who is a fan of Jason Mantzoukas now, like Adrian Pimento from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and a bunch of other crap. He's in John Wick 3.
In a very small role.
Yeah.
But yes, he's in it.
And so essentially
He's
he
always
plays...
playing the terrorist, the hobo, the crazy person. He was in The House.
Yeah, which was an awesome movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah, and then just all the looking up scenes for Rafi. They're all very long because they're all compilation of greatest hits.
But we were just saying that season 1, like I remember when I was introduced to that show, which coincidentally was by yourself.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that we started at season 2.
Yeah,
until I started rewatching it. It's like, when does Rafi get there? And I started season 1. I was like,
season 2,
and I just kept skipping, and I was like, these episodes are not as funny as I thought they'd be. And then, it's in season 2 he appears, and then that's where the funny picks up.
Yeah, it's a show about these friends from high school, college, whatever, and they're all in a fantasy football league, which I don't care about. And then even the premise was like a little weak. But as Rafi gets involved,
because you're a huge football fan and a fantasy football fan as well.
Oh yeah, no, that's huge for me. But then when Rafi shows up, who's one of the characters' brothers-in-law, let's.
Why would you close your eyes? Do you know me? PYH. Protect your holes, okay? Boom. You just got to your car and a man shows up with these. What are they?
Nunchucks.
No, they are 2 dildos connected by a chain. And guess what, ladies? They're rigged for your pleasure.
Oh,
Okay?
God.
You think you're up against some sort of martial arts kung fu expert? What you don't know is he has designs to put both of these inside of you.
So that's just a dusting of the gems that Rafi provides.
Also, he's on the How Did This Get Made podcast,
Oh, yeah.
of course.
Yeah, he's in like a million things.
Almost every episode.
And if you listen to the Comedy Bang Bang podcast, he's been on that like 100 times. But anyway, Jason Mantzoukas is, no matter what nation he is in, he is that nation's national treasure because he is so goddamn fantastic. But yeah, check the league out, skip season 1, and get into Rafi.
So as a perfect segue into our movie poster talk, I have a little story to tell
All right.
about a movie experience from a few days ago.
Oh, also, movie poster. That movie Captain Marvel had a movie poster. You can watch The League, and who plays Captain Marvel? What's her name?
Brie Olsen.
Yeah, she gets jammed by Rafi in a kind of a disgusting relationship, and they try to do what's called a Golden Gate Bridge with another man, which is well, watch it and enjoy because we're building a bridge, bro.
Chicks dig it when we bump stuff. So, Jen and I she had the idea to go see a movie. We haven't been for months because every time we go, we have the fortunate of luck of being around one of 3 people. The cell phone user,
Wesley Snipes.
in the middle of the movie,
Yeah.
the drunk person, or the person who decides to talk at a very loud level through most of the movie. So we haven't gone forever. We've just been choosing not to go.
Just boning.
Because it's expensive sometimes.
Yeah.
When you add up. Anyways.
All those duds, milk and otherwise.
Milk. Bud duds. No.
Yogurt duds.
Other assorted cream duds.
Yog dudes.
And so we went to go see It 2, Chapter 2.
Yeah.
Not a clown just saying It 2.
Me as well. You like?
My It. And got the passes, went and sat down. And even before the previews had started, there was an obnoxious row behind us of 3 people.
Yeah.
One was just an adult. I think the other 2 were teenagers. And talking loud. And then it continued through the previews. And we both kind of had this idea, like, this is going to be the people now, of course.
Because some people just cool it after the previews.
Yeah, like the previews are fine because whatever. Nobody really, like, you can watch them online.
Yeah.
Right afterwards if
But
you miss it.
they are better in the theater.
Sometimes.
I enjoy it. Well,
But I'm less annoyed by that during the previews. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'll give leeway through the previews if they want to yap it up. But when we get down to it, if they keep going, I'll just say, shut the fuck up. And they're like, ooh. I'm like, well.
Right. So
yeah.
Usually, and the weird thing is that so you can see where the story is going, where I said something.
And see something. Say something.
See something, say something. Hey, it should apply to a lot of things.
Dude, if I got to put down my yoke duds, I'm going to flip you upside down.
My cornet duds.
You think these are nunchucks? Boop, 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 boop.
So usually, like, for years, I don't want to. I don't want to tell people to shut up. I don't want to tell people to put their phone away in a theater. I feel I shouldn't have to. You're an adult. You should know how to behave in a theater.
Yeah, it sucks.
Everybody's there to not talk.
Yeah.
For a lot of time that movie's on. And even if I'm like the furthest row away, the dumbasses who are causing a disturbance, if they're even at the front, the people around never say shit.
Yeah.
So I will always say something no matter where I'm sitting because I hate it, because I'll be distracted by it.
What's you, me, and Larry David saving the world?
Yeah.
That's it.
And so
Listen up, fuckers.
So it was
You learned something from Larry.
like 2 minutes into the movie, and one of the idiots, all I could hear is like, I thought we were watching this other movie. And then the idiot man was like, no, that was the thing on Netflix that we were streaming the other day. And I went from 0 to 100.
Wait, is this Netflix?
So usually I start with like the glare, and then I work my way up to a shush, please be quiet.
Maybe a throat clear.
Yeah, maybe, I'd just take a dump and throw it at them.
Yeah.
But I went from 0 to 100 in one turn.
Yeah.
I turned, stared him in the eyes, and shut the fuck up or get out. Seriously. And he just went like a blank stare.
Yeah.
And I turned around, I was like, oh boy. That probably wasn't too good. And then you just hear like little rumblings. And he's going, fuck you. If you're going to tell me to shut the fuck up, you better tell the whole crowd to shut the fuck up. And so I turned to Jen. I said, can we go? I created a situation. And no matter what I say, it's not going to de-escalate this. It's just going to escalate it to the point where we'll be in the paper.
But that's the sweet spot. You got to get there and just like see how nuts you can make them.
Well, I've never gone that hard in the paint on somebody that quickly.
Yeah.
And it's because every time we go, I have to deal with that.
Yeah.
That I find is just like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
And so we went and got a refund, and the manager ended up giving us some free passes. It's like, well, we'll see if we ever come back to the movies. But it was, what was more interesting to me is when we left, I thought, what was it like for everyone else in the theater to witness that?
Super uncomfortable.
Be like, this guy turned around, told this other person to shut the fuck up or get out, and then they left.
Yeah.
That was weird. And then they never came back. It's like, that's what I wonder about, is the perception of everyone else.
Yeah.
Wondering if that guy's going to be murdered. Like, I'm just waiting outside the theater door, John Wilkes Booth style.
Or if like, did he go to his car? Is he getting like a tube sock full of nickels? Is it go time?
Or yeah, has he gone to load up and come back?
Yeah.
Never thought of that angle.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, that's
USA, A-OK.
That's what the Joker inspired with that one viewing in America.
All right.
Which, and second mass shooting reference in 2 episodes.
Nice.
Let's move on. But yeah, that I've been talking about it for a while now. Just my level of tolerance for people doing anything is like,
well, I know
it's so low. Like yesterday, and again, like you're saying with the theater, it happens every time.
Yeah.
Downtown Victoria, where we live, we have some of the worst drivers known to man. Most of them are 1,500 years old, and they don't understand crosswalks or lights, and you always just have to watch out because someone's going to do something stupid. So I was walking home yesterday, and I'm on the crosswalk, and I see a lady just like swinging into the crosswalk, like turning right. I was like, oh, she's coming right at me. So I stop, and she slows in front of me, and I just wind up and I just punch the shit out of her car. Because what's she going to do? All the bodies of these cars, of like modern cars, they're like fiberglass, flexible shit. All it's going to do is freak him out. But for years now, my default has been just to unload and just punch the shit out of a car.
And what has happened in those situations?
Nothing. One lady got over, she pulled over like half a block down and started yelling, and then checked her car for damage and then drove away.
But how far away was this lady from you?
Probably 4 inches.
Okay.
It was like, it was a close shave. Like I wasn't like looking for a problem. I saw her. I was like, "You are going to hit me, so I'm just going to stop where I am." And she just basically like shaved the buckle off my belt, and then I was
Shave
like, "Well,
the pubis.
one day, I'm a grown boy." I was like, "Well, it's go time," and I just punched her car, and then she drove away.
Did you punch the hood? Or...
No, I punched the side of the car
Oh, the side of the car.
because she pulled like right in front of me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Before she stopped.
Yeah. It's amazing the things you can do to people where they don't do anything because in my head they're thinking, did he just punch the car?
Yeah.
And then by the time they've like made peace with that fact, I'm already gone in the rear view.
Right.
What do they do? Did you punch my car? Yeah. Well, there's no mark.
But you're working on it.
Oh yeah. If I see you tomorrow, I'm gonna hit in the same spot.
If you're
It's gonna be like in Kill Bill where you punch that log every day, then pretty soon you're gonna punch right through it.
right. If you are ever about to get hit by a car, and if it's low enough, the trick is to jump just a little bit
Yep.
and try and take the front of the hood in the hip so that you pivot onto the front of the hood and land on it instead of being like hit broadside by it. You'll do less damage. You'll still get damaged, but
That's like they say about
safety tips.
like how to defend yourself against a shark. Like just punch it in the nose. I'm like between like weeping, barfing, shitting, and trying to swim. I don't know if I'm like how dead on my aim's gonna be. Like, where's your like? Do you even like?
So is the shark?
I'm gonna be looking for nostrils at that point. It'd be like this thing doesn't have fucking nostrils. Like, what am I supposed to do?
But is it jumping out of the water before you punch it? Because underwater, your punch speed's very slow.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, push it in the nose. You can't.
Yeah.
Uh,
If you have any tips on
I saw
how to attack sharks or cars, let us know at whatever our email is.
Another
Designers are the worst at Gmail.
another technique you can use. I've seen this before used in a street fight on YouTube, where a guy picked a fight with another guy, and then he took off his pants and shirt,
Yeah.
and the other guy just ran away because that's iconic.
Because the nude man has nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. People are good and fun. And I work from home today, and I was very happy to not be around anybody. It was a lot of fun standing at my desk, and I was actually watching the league on my iPad while I was working.
Have you tried out Sidecar? Oh no, you don't have it. Right. Sorry, I'm talking about.
Oh, that Catalina thing?
Yeah,
No.
I tried it out.
Is it?
It's where you connect. If you don't know, it's where you connect your iPad to your Apple device, and X is a second one. I didn't try any of its like pen stuff, but it was fine. I haven't done a side-by-side comparison to
Luna?
but anyways.
Watch your ass, Luna. That's too bad.
It's a Catalina wine mixer.
Hey, fucking Catalina wine mixer. I made a reference from Step Brothers yesterday at work, and I don't know if anybody got it.
Was that when you were working at home as well?
No, that was in-house, but it was a fancy sauce reference. Step Brothers, that was a good poster.
Looks like you found some stuff.
Did I? Yes.
Did I?
I was also wondering, should we have named segments in the beginning part? I listen to a lot of podcasts, and the ones that are successful seem to have any semblance of structure, logic, or reason. And I wondered if we should introduce one of those three.
I mean, some like one podcast says it's Get to Know Us or something like that. Is their intro? I don't know. What would you call it?
And Get to Know Us the podcast name?
No. It's like
Okay.
the intro segment where they just shoot the shit. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Shit shot?
No.
Too crude.
You've listened to the intro. Now you've listened to the introduction monologue.
That reminds me, one year for my parents and other family members and all that, before I had kids, all their presents I wrapped in plain brown paper, and it said 2 recipient, contents, 1 gift, and then I just put them all under the tree.
You know,
they're like, "Who's that for?" I was like, "Recipient." They're like, "Fuck, you're such an idiot." And then they opened it, and they were bad presents because I was broke as hell.
well, knowing what I know of your family, it seems appropriate.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to like it anyway, so you might as well have fun with the giving. Speaking of giving, Yeah, maybe we'll give some.
So what would well
segments.
let's talk about this for 30 seconds then.
Yeah.
So what does this segment consist of? So it's, hey, what's up? I found some stuff. And then this also happened.
Yeah, because we start it, we get into shit that's been going on with us, other work or otherwise, movies and car punching, and then we get into. I typically have a bunch of links and stuff prepared, and
yeah, well,
as do you. So there's got to be
it's like the sharing,
like the
sharing session,
yeah,
and then the I don't know. Well,
just to give us like a target of like in the intro part, because we always do 3 segments typically. If there's like we hit these marks, and then we can get the listeners out of the obligation of listening to us in under 3 hours potentially,
right.
because I feel the structure helps drive shit. And even now,
Also,
meandering about structure, there's people out there punching their cars.
are we still on Apple Podcasts?
Yeah,
Because I went to go look it up.
they've demanded it.
I've looked it up on the podcast app.
Yeah.
On the new OS.
Yeah.
Catalina Wine Mixer. And we weren't listed at all. It was weird.
On what was iTunes,
Yeah.
but
no.
but now it's a podcast app.
Yeah,
like
no, it's just the
standalone.
podcast app. Yeah.
No, we're on there.
Weird. If
Um,
I had my laptop here, I'd show you, but I don't. So
so fuck it. I do have my laptop here, and one thing I have a few things to share this very day in our sharing is caring segment or whatever. It's Sharon is Karen. Who's Karen? Sweaty Vetter's lady's name is Karen. Shout out Sweaty. So there,
I don't know.
yeah, I found a few things. Nothing really related to the topic today.
They usually
Just some
never
random shit.
are.
Last time I was accidentally on topic with music. I had a few music things that I gathered before we even figured out what we were going to do. One of them is if you're a fan of skateboarding, as myself is, then you know Santa Cruz, which has been around since the 80s, and they had this big resurgence in this awesome team, and they have some like the most iconic, like if anybody listening can picture that blue hand with a screaming mouth in it, that is a Santa Cruz graphic.
Oh.
And they have so many like crazy intricate art forward graphics over the years by I think Jim Phillips is a guy that did the majority of them. Now his son does a ton of them. They're just gnarly. So they had this one series done recently by an artist from Japan. His name is Mako Yamaki, and he did these 3 graphics, one for Kevin Braun, who's like a new pro, Eric Dressen, who is like a legendary pro from the 80s, who's also now like a gnarly tattoo artist, and then Tom Remillard, who's just an all-around like ripper. But he did these 3 graphics that are also woodcuts. So one of them's like this Zippo, one of them's a pack of cigarettes, and one of them's like a box of matches, and they're super, super, super cool. I know I was super captivated by them. They're all just blue. They're on like a blank board, just like the wood, like the maple board with like the blue graphic on it. And if you go to worstdesignshow.com, you can check out the link to it. But there's also Thrasher put up a video from Santa Cruz all about how the guy made them. And yeah, it was just where a lot of things in skating and in movie posters and all this kind of shit, so much of it is digital now.
Mm-hmm.
That it kind of loses a bit of its guts. It's almost like a bit too easy to make a graphic now because you just take a pre-done asset and then you chuck it into a new format and you squeeze it around a bit until it kind of fits and you're like, fucking done, branding on point. But this was just like each of these could be these skate graphics. I look at them, I see a deck, I see a shirt, I see like a poster, I see stickers. Like it's just that it's such a strong little image that I could just see it everywhere. And to look at them, they're not like, there's nothing remarkable about it except for me, the whole vibe of it. I don't know. I loved them.
So when you say that they're woodcuts,
Like
So
he make
are they carved into the board, or is it a woodblock print?
yeah, that's what
Right.
it is. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's a woodblock because I know the guy does woodblock as well. But yeah, he did them like life size, like he did them that big,
Right.
like about a third of the size of a skateboard. And
I mean, they're really interesting. Like the first thing I thought was like that would be on the back of a jacket
yeah,
or like a little emblem on the front of it.
yeah, and the guy made it to the size where they don't have to like scan it in and vectorize it, and so they can blow it up. Like he made it big enough to apply to a shirt, to a jacket, to an anything.
The thing about them that I really like is that there's so much happening in each of them that you could pull out individual parts of it
Yeah.
to create like a responsive branding from that. So I'm just thinking of like the center one with the roses. Like
Yeah.
you just take the name, the rose, the characters on the outside, and his name, and then that's one.
Yeah,
Then you have like the rose itself, and then you have the sunburst as a different style. There's just so much in it that you could take pieces of it to
Yeah.
create new things just from that. It's really great.
yeah. There's a lot going on, but in a way they're very basic.
And for two colors.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
forget
pretty-
that.
And the one you're just talking about, the one in the middle with the roses and stuff, that's Eric Dressen, the pro from the 80s. He's still pro, who's a tattoo artist now. And, links are tricky, and I'll click all of them. And he invented a skateboarding trick. If you know a 5-0 grind, it's so you balance on your back trucks and you grind. It's kind of like a manual, but you're grinding on like a ledge or a rail or whatever. But he did that, and then he did it on like a 45-degree angle. And they called it a salad grind. So he just kind of pivot on the edge.
Right.
They call it a salad grind because his name is Eric Dressen, and it's like salad dressing. And he didn't name it, and he's now crazy about it. But it's a fun fact. But
I get it.
yeah, I know.
It's really
And simple, nice graphics. And I'll post that video at worstdesignshow.com. Go check it out because it's just a gnarly artist making cool stuff. And Eric Dressen and the other writers are just talking about like what a cool experience it was to work with this guy making it by hand rather than just like seeing the graphics issued, or like Santa Cruz does a lot of reissues and stuff. So it's kind of like, oh, we do the Screaming Hand, except now it's Spider-Man, and now we did the Screaming
Right.
Hand and it looks like a mummy, and it's all really cool, but they kind of redo some stuff. So it's just kind of seeing them getting amped up at one guy made them custom graphics based on their personality.
So what's really messed me up about this right now too is the blue background.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's just my eyesight these days, but the blue and with the red combination, the way it's layered, it makes it look 3D. I'm not just saying just because it has a shadow on it.
Yeah.
But blues and reds just mess me up for some weird reason. When I see them stacked,
Yeah.
like everything else just has depth now.
Yeah. When they touch,
Yeah.
something happens visually when like a bright red and a bright blue touch, that they do seem at different depths, and that's got to be the reason why they're the primary in like classic 3D shit, which
Could be.
3D movie posters, those were a thing. 3D
they?
movies, yeah,
I don't remember the posters being 3D.
yeah. So that was the thing I found.
So on the topic of this,
Yeah,
I brought it up with you a while back via SMS text messaging.
yeah,
Uh,
modern.
About
I'm familiar.
you painting some skateboards with like your own art or like
Yep.
inspire stuff and then just selling it yourself, because those blank decks you can just buy, like they don't have to be rideable, but
Yep.
there's got to be like a market for art like that,
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
or just give
It's
them
just
away to
another-
people.
Shithead drawing skeletons.
Yeah. So
I'm actually making one for a skate shop right now. They don't know it. I'm just gonna be like, here, I like what you do, and I like your team, and I like your vibe, and if you want to throw this on a shirt, go ahead.
Perfect.
So I'm working on it. Every time I continue working on it, like 40 people walk into the room. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? So it's taken like 3 weeks, and I'm
Right.
like halfway done, where it should have taken 2 days.
yeah.
But one day it'll get done, and then they'll go, "Oh, cool, thanks a lot." So yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for coming by.
Does anybody know who that guy was? Nope.
Yeah, it's like enough time has passed in pass by where it's built up in my head where it's going to be like, they're going to be excited. And then it's like, just because you took a long time making something because of you don't have a lot of time to yourself doesn't mean anybody gives a shit about what comes out the other end.
True.
And yeah, so that's fun. Something else, a couple other things I found. This one delighted me. It's called the English Summer Book. English Summer Book. The English Summer Season Book, where this guy, Peter Dench, he's a photographer, I'm assuming in England, and he has this photo book where he went to all these books available here. Where's all the things? Yeah. So he went to these like super fancy hoity-toity British like socialite events, and he took photos of all these rich kids and older people just being shit hammered and just looking like a bunch of like poor jackasses that just encountered an open bar. So again, if you go to worstdesignshow.com, we'll post a link, but like the first one is this lady sitting on a guy wearing his jacket, smoking right in his face while he's like looking down at his phone, and there's just like trash and shit everywhere on the ground, but it's all like champagne bottles and like crystal, but there also looks like there's Cheetos and
It
all
also
kinds
looks
of stuff.
like the guy on the right is drinking from that mega cup.
Yeah.
The straw is just perfectly placed.
But if you look on that table beside him, there's like 3 giant bottles of champagne that are all just empty, and there's all like plastic kind of clear Solo cups with it's just like like this next one, this guy's got this gnarly like panther tattoo on the back of his head, and there's a guy like slamming a beer behind him. But yeah, so it's all these like well-to-do people, but apparently during the summer in England, it's just get shit faced outside season, no matter what you're doing. But all these people are like, they're in like soccer stadiums or like horse racing stadiums or whatever, and it is fantastic. Like they're 2 bros just like slamming beers. I'm sure their shirts cost more than my car did. A guy with like a box of French fries in his pocket. And
fun fact, they'd be called chips.
Hey,
He just got cultured.
how do you do, Governor? And then yeah, I know. So yeah, it's Peter Dench, English Summer Season Book.
Bradley Cooper in the background there with the blue shirt.
Oh.
Oh no,
It very
it's
well.
just another fellow with a sweater on his shoulders.
Yeah,
And a guy with the tattoo says Surrey boy.
yeah.
And that's
But-
not Surrey, BC. That's Surrey, England.
Yeah, then the last one we have up here is this woman standing by herself with a bunch of these helium balloons. She looks to be in her 60s, and she's standing by herself slamming a giant beer. And
I think I found my new wallpaper set here.
Yeah, then people taking cover under a garbage can lid. And I know, I was just delighted by just how messy and disgusting everyone was getting.
But at the same time, still trying to dress fancy.
Yeah. But they're all, everyone's having a good time.
It'd be weird to dress that fancy to get shit faced.
Yeah. Big sunburn on the bahoobies, Miss Annette Glean. So anyway, I was
all the stuff I've got here is all based on movie posters. So
okay.
I'm kind of just holding off.
Yeah. One more thing before we get into our dear friend Jerry King. Actually, there are 2 more things. One of them is called "On the Road to Variable." It's a type book, and I happened upon it.
That is a tight book.
It is toy. I forget how I found it, but it's just this like super modern book all about using type as art.
Right.
And it's called On the Road to Variable. And it's on the road to variable text where you're able to use it for so many more purposes than just conveying information. So all the artwork in here, there's like, we can see here, there's like exterior art, like on buildings, windows, signs, just all kinds of shit. Like it's just celebrating type as art. And I just really liked it. Like it had no point other than to look cool.
Yeah, I like it when it's used appropriately.
Yeah.
I find it also can be a trend
Oh yeah.
that people will abuse in the wrong way.
Yeah, for sure. Whenever people try and take like something cool that exists as an art piece and then try and commercialize it to be like, hey, we can repurpose that to sell Mountain Dew, it always fails because that spontaneity and that freedom dies when you try and use it to sell something. But I don't know. I was captivated by the pages in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so often every visual like is not. It's all about what isn't the words.
Yeah.
that sounded completely stupid.
You mean the picture?
Yeah, well, pictures and words. But when there's no picture and you just have to rely on words, then that's where you can flex. It's nice, like in this usage here, it's great because it's print or real world, so you're restricted physically. Web is tough. To do stuff like this and pull it off, it's tough.
Because it's got to wiggle. It's got to jump from phone to desktop and all that. Like you got to...
Yeah.
It's responsive art, which in itself is like a mind-bending exercise and it's fun. But at the same time, you kind of sometimes just want to make something and make it look cool and then walk away.
Yeah, and a lot of any sort of complex layouts, anything that I've seen always tends to slow down any sort of scrolling or whatever's happening on there. So it's just, it's because, it's just not as easy to pull off. Yeah. I've seen versions of it in little micro pieces that are really neat, but it's tough because, to translate something like that one there with all the word square inside the square.
Square is written like 500 times in a bunch of different kind of grids and patterns.
Yeah, like it'd be weird to have I don't know. It's rambling of a confused person.
But it's not. It's what I think you're doing is what I would do with something like this too, is like you start to think about it in a project sense. Like, okay, how would that work? But it didn't have to. It just had to do this. It had to exist as a cool thing to look at in a book and then go away.
Yeah, I'm thinking that one of the words would be either backwards or a different color. Yeah. And that's your link.
Yeah.
That's how I think about it.
Yeah. We're trying to insert like project-based logic into it, but there's no real...
And so how do I contact you through this Square site?
Yeah. Fuck. So anyway, it's
I like the colors.
On the Road to Variable. Yeah, the colors are great. It's like for you listening, it's like a bright blue, yellows, kind of a peachy thing.
The top version is bold. Like a Saul Bass IKEA.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a segue into movie posters.
Yeah, about fish. One more thing about type that I found. This guy Don Rietbergen.
Don Rickles.
So this guy, he is a type designer from someplace in the world that is probably Scandinavian, given his name.
It says in the first sentence, but I'm not going to try and pronounce that.
In the first sentence? Oh, Studio Dunbar?
Nope. Of the actual content.
Oh.
For Utrecht?
Utrecht based, yeah. So wherever, hey, shout out to Utrecht. And if you're in Limerick and you're listening, we know you're there. We'll get you. But yeah, so he is a type designer. He did a lot of time doing graffiti as well, graffiti type when he was younger. And he combined them into this typeface that he's just kind of putting everywhere. It's all hand done. It's all based on a grid. And he'll just like throw a character up somewhere. Like in the photo we're looking at, it's just a W that's like painted on a door on what looks like this has to be like Denmark, hey?
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah. So
it's in a canal somewhere.
Yeah.
Or a small little river.
Yeah, he's just kind of postering them around, and it's just this like thick grid type that he's using his experience as a type designer and then taking like the graffiti mentality. Let's go throw this shit up places and just put like one letter. Like there's one here, there's an X and a guy riding by on a scooter, but the X kind of looks like it could be from like Space Invaders.
Are those ones above there? Do you think that can't be a brush?
It looks like a brush.
Like it looks like, but how would he He'd have to turn it on an angle to get it going that way. You know what it actually kind of looks like is like weaving loom work.
Weaving.
not queefing, but weaving.
Well,
It almost
Potato.
it has a sci-fi / future Japan.
almost
feel
like
to
a
it. Blade Runner.
I was gonna say, like, it would be
Yeah.
like in Blade Runner, they would fly by in whatever their magic car, and then there'd be like a big billboard filled with these characters that are just like, and then it would be like an energy drink or something.
How if you're that artist and you're being commissioned to create a piece for somebody, say like, because all these are probably uncommissioned, like technically graffiti.
Yeah, he's just spreading the good word.
But if somebody, do you think that this person would take a commission project, and then how would you charge for that? So
Like to do one letter?
yeah, we want you to do the W, but real big. It's like, oh, it's 10 grand. It's like, really? Could have a kid paint that.
You could have a kid paint that.
And he'd probably be like, go for it.
Yeah, fuck you. Oh, Netherlands. There you go. There you go. So Dawn Rietbergen is also on Instagram at Dawn_Rietbergen. And it's just like a bunch of type experiments up on his Instagram. Just like, again, it's just fun for the sake of fun. He does characters that kind of look maybe like Korean, something in this same kind of like blocky style.
Is that Illustrator he's got open in the right hand panel there?
Let's see. It is an Adobe Pro. That is a low resolution on that screen. Dawn, time to upgrade. But yeah, I saw it and I was like, that would be cool to see throughout your town with no explanation.
I like it for odd reasons I didn't think I would. That while it's simple, it's still complex enough to hold your attention.
Yeah.
And doesn't feel well, to me, it doesn't feel like it's been done before.
Yeah. Yeah. It jumped out at me as cool for no other reason than it made my eyeballs happy.
Weird. Somebody said the patience. Can you scroll up in the comment? White gel pen on black paper.
Oh, so it's like a ruler. He's just going line by line, because if you're listening, it looks like he has like a brush and he's like big fat brush strokes, but it looks like each line is from a gel pen and a ruler on a grid.
Interesting.
That's
Huh.
got to be like basically like knitting for this dude.
Yeah, I just wonder how thin that pen is or how big the paper is. But he's also got his guides there too, so it's like there's not any magic to it, which is really interesting because it still is magical.
Yeah.
And he uses a ruler.
Yeah. Hey, I got that ruler. Not so different, Dawn and I.
Is it the cork back?
Oh, God bless it. Yeah, it is. I just had to use that to
Neato.
replace my kid's floor that he trashed. Fucking kids.
Did you replace the flooring already?
Yeah. The day I no longer had the flu. I had the piss and vinegar in me to replace an entire floor
Nice.
for the first time, and it went great. It turns out that it's basically like a print project, like laminate flooring,
Yeah.
because like the tongue and groove or whatever stuff on either side is basically like the bleed.
Yeah.
So it's like 3/16 of an inch bleed on either side. Done and done.
Yeah.
I had one miscut in like 70 boards.
Ugh.
So wasn't that bad. But yeah, so
That's
Dawn
rad.
Rietbergen, we'll put the link up on worstdesignshow.com. But yeah, it's just, I don't know why I had a few type things that just struck me.
Like these, I see. I'm still talking about it. I want to still talk about it
Yeah.
because it's like it's so simple, but I appreciate it. Like this is the kind of stuff that one, it's black and white, so I immediately like it.
Yeah. Big Michael Jackson fan.
Totally.
It don't matter if you're black or white, Dawn,
It's got glitter,
as long as you're
Michael
one of the
Jackson.
two.
But it all looks
It would appeal to kids like Michael Jackson.
posterable and
Yeah.
wearable and labelable and graffitiable.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Brava! Now, speaking of good work, want to see something that's terrible? It's the King's Court. It's time. For those of you who heard before, we enjoy a good Jerry King cartoon because why? Because we love him. Because for better or worse, he inspires emotions.
And
He gets our ire up.
nobody's emailed in saying, "Hey, I don't like that segment. You guys should cut it."
Interesting note, nobody's emailing.
Well,
I checked my email for the first time in 6 weeks. I missed like nothing.
how many messages did you have?
There's like 30 something. Almost
it?
all of them are from Netflix saying, hey, you want to watch something? I'm like, no.
Right.
And then I had 2 messages from a human. And then one from Amazon saying, like, your shipment is going to be there. And that's it. 6 weeks. So
is it off again?
Oh, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I can live a happy life without email. The only time I'll check it is if I'm expecting something.
Right.
It'd be like if I wouldn't check the mail until I thought I was getting something in the mail. And then I'd have to sort through 400 pieces of mail to get that one letter.
Right.
But it's worth it to not check it every day.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Before we get to the King's Corner. If you were to create a new, imagine if you will, a new revolutionary platform for creating slide decks,
Yeah.
what do you think that would be worth in the millions?
Oh,
Now consider that Google Decks or slides is free
and sucks.
and Keynote is free if you have a Mac.
There's another one called Paste for the iPad. It's
Okay.
really good. It's very limited in what it can do, but what it does, it looks nice.
Right. So I want you to do something for me.
All right.
I want you to go to
Pitch,
Patch.
please.
No, Patch. Wait, hold on. Let me convert that
Okay, we're
before
going
you
to Pitch Patch.
before you go somewhere. NSFW.
And so are you thinking of a way to make slide presentations less horrifying to build?
Go to pitch.com.
You couldn't remember pitch.com.
I couldn't remember if it was Pitch or Patch.
Pitcher Patch, Pumpkin Patch, Pitcher Patch.
Okay, so if you scroll, it's kind of a neat little whoop. So anyways, it's a slide deck. So if you go to news at the top, navigation,
Yeah.
and then read that article, click on that.
Read article.
So they've announced their limited preview beta new funding. So they're also announcing that they've raised an additional $30 million in funding.
Yeah.
So I think they've raised $50 million in funding to create a slide deck platform.
Since we introduced Pitch last year, we've been hard at work building our product. Today, we're excited to share the news that we are inviting the first teams and companies to use Pitch. We're also announcing that we've raised $30 million in additional fuck you funding from Thrive Capital. And I got to say, they're super design heavy. Like,
They are.
If you go to pitch.com and just have a clicky boo, it's fun graphics and well done.
But the only thing I'm seeing that's any different is you get to mark slides as done or in progress, and that's it. Everything else is the same as. I just don't like. Wait. I just don't understand how somebody can evaluate a slide deck product as that much money.
It all starts with an mirror.
Anyways,
Yeah, I mean, design-wise, they got some cool shit going on. Hey, we know that guy. Our investors. That makes sense.
yeah. Anyways, that's all.
Picture number. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cool. There's also that one. There's Pitch, and then there's one called Paste, which I'll show quick. The ability to create quickly and easily presentations on your iPad when you're just like in a meeting or something. You have to get like a presentation done. It's really, really nice. Paste. Fuck, what do you even call that? Presentation app? What is a thing called?
Paste app.
But people call it like I have a presentation, or say I have a keynote, or I'm going to do a Google Slides or something. Continue with Google.
Does it cost money?
No, the iPad one was free, and I was playing with it because I had to do basically like a storyboarding deck for a client.
Oh, it's Paste by WeTransfer. That's what it is.
Oh, no. But anyway, I within like a minute, I was like fully into what they were doing. Like here, sample design walkthrough. They have like basic templates and
Interesting.
like click anywhere to interact with prototype. Like they have the graphics that move around. So it's really like it's to be sent out to clients or whatever, and they can like move their mouse around and the graphics move, and they're so easy to edit. And yeah, I know.
That's really interesting. I'm not seeing a price anywhere.
Yeah, well,
So I'm going to get that and try it out.
yeah, so if you go to pasteapp.com and check it out, like if you need, like all their examples here typically are for like UI design presentations. They have like a lot of phone graphics and all that. But yeah, just like clean, nice presentations you can make on your iPad. And once your clients get used to the fact or that you're not using like Keynote and all that kind of shit, they can just like view it in the browser. They'll be stoked. I haven't had like a ton of cause to use it yet, but yeah, you can throw a video and do it as well. But yeah, Paste app is well worth checking out. Oh, content loading. Yeah, you can put animated stuff in it, and I don't know.
Interesting.
Worked well.
So this is, of course, worth $50 million as well.
Yeah, because the triangle is going in a circle.
Yeah.
So
Okay, let's move to King's Garden.
all right. Jerry King's our favorite person currently living, besides Nathan Lane. And every week we don't do a show, so every 2 weeks I'll find a cartoon, I'll bring it up, I blank out the words. Marcus gets to take us through a journey in his mind about what's happening. If you go to @KingCartoon or King Cartoons or whatever on Twitter, you can be one of his 100 followers. He's a self-proclaimed most prolific cartoonist on the internet or something. Anyway, he has a lot about design, and we like talking about it. So
Without further ado,
Marcus, here we go. We have a scene, no words. Let the folks know what it's doing to your heart and your mind.
so there is a woman, and she is
Which is fine now.
and she's standing there. She has not gray hair, but white hair because it's the same color as the wall behind her. No hands, arms crossed, or stumps crossed.
Jerry King classically has an issue with hands. He either look like a doll's hand or just like a sharp point, almost like is it Baraka or something in Mortal Kombat? He had like knife hands.
That is true. It is Baraka.
Yeah.
He had. He didn't have knife hands. He had big, huge blades that would come out of his forearms.
Yeah.
And he also had spikes around him. He had spiky teeth.
Yeah.
He was from the. Okay. Anyways.
So if you picture Baraka,
If you go to my
in an
lore
office.
page, www.barakalore.com.
Mortal Kombat fanfuction.com.
We're doing a crossover with, anyways. And
With
then
UNICEF.
so she's talking to a confused-looking human man, who's holding, and I can only guess at what he's holding, but it looks like a really crude glass of lemonade where the lemons haven't been cut, and so it's just lemon. it just looks like lemon
within
and
the
water.
rind.
Yeah, like because the liquid in his glass is white. It's clear.
So
And then-
also, does the woman Total Recall style have a third breast growing out of her stomach?
No, that's her other arm that's folded underneath.
Well, God bless her.
But it could be. And then the guy, of course, his one hand is showing, and it's a circle, somehow gripping an
That's
entire
generous.
glass. Yeah, it's a footnote of a hand.
What would
So-
you say is happening with the walls behind him?
Fuck,
Because
you
I
know
was
what?
confused.
Thing is, I was like, there's more detail on the floor than there is in anything else.
It looks like an MC Escher painting. If MC Escher was built like one of Jerry King's people without hands, this is what his art would look like. He's going for something, but he just doesn't have the dexterity to do it.
It's an afterthought.
Or
Actually,
it
the
could have been
whole-
his best thought.
The whole thing is classified as afterthought. So,
What do we think they're talking about?
to be honest, I think because she looks like she's talking to him. He looks like he's not actually listening and is shocked by something that he's heard
Yeah.
or have seen. So I'm going to say that she's saying something like, you printed an RGB and it should have been CMYK, Larry. That's my guess.
Oh, you're going to be so much more upset.
Well, of course. Why would it ever?
Why would it ever work out?
Yeah. If I ever get this, right, I've either seen it or I'm done.
It's time for Harikari.
That's it.
You fall on your sword and
Yeah.
you're out. All right, so now we uncover the caption, and please, Marcus, share with us what's going on.
So the woman is saying, so you're fine with making your website from a template, but have to have your coffee from Starbucks.
Let's go back to that lemonade cup. Is that a Starbucks cup?
What? Oh, wait.
Why do you make Starbucks yellow?
No. I want to talk about... You can't make coffee from a template. What the fuck is she talking about?
Also, he wrote Starbucks with an apostrophe S, or as Overlord Trump calls hyphen.
So it's
as Taco calls from the league, an uppercase comma.
So it's like Reese's peanut butter cups. It's Reese apostrophe S.
Belonging to Reese.
Yeah, so they're Reese's. But there's not somebody named Starbuck. And you're welcome. You come on into Starbucks.
Yeah.
With an apostrophe. But I can't get past, but you have to get your coffee from Starbucks. What does it have to do with website from a template? I don't get it.
So is Starbucks not like the ultimate in a template?
Starbucks is custom?
No, it's...
Yeah, no.
It's all a template. You go to any of them, you can get whatever fucking nasty whipped cream bullshit you want. It's a templatized chain.
He looks like he's dead inside from hearing that comment.
Yeah.
And he could hear the apostrophe on Starbucks. But that, coming back to what I thought was lemonade, does he like, I have a Starbucks cup on the table. Come on.
Those are white and green, right?
Come on,
Still?
man. That's green and white. And like, I don't know. Like,
but it looks like a glass. It doesn't look like a cup. There's no lid on it. It looks like he's holding a glass.
That's why I thought it was a glass of lemonade.
So why are they discussing coffee?
I don't think Jerry's been to a Starbucks to know two things: their colors and what they sell.
Or the spelling.
Or the spelling.
He couldn't be bothered to Google Starbucks. Hey, I wonder how that's spelled and what the cups look like. He's like, I got this.
Also, for the record, there's no shame in using a template for your website.
No, it saves a ton of money. And templates are pretty good now.
They sure are.
So, Jerry King.
Thank you for...
I don't know, man.
That was a really good because of the fact that I had a Starbucks. As reference in case I forgot.
Oh, you bring it everywhere just in case somebody fucks up a drawing.
Somebody goes, hey, what were those colors again?
Yeah.
And I go Starbucks green and Starbucks white.
Yeah. So, Jerry King... hashtag, there you go. You're the worst, and we love you.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, so if you like any of that stuff, don't worry. There's more stuff coming. We're going to be talking about movie posters and the evolution from art to fart.
Yes.
Bye.
Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. Excuse me.
You're so loud.
I'm so loud. I don't understand. I've been looking for you for 5 minutes. How come you didn't beckon?
Why didn't I beckon?
Yes, you beckoned. You knew I was coming into the theater. You gotta wave. You gotta go like this so I can see
look
you.
around. I'm right here.
You can't see anything from down there.
I'm not gonna make a scene.
I was telling you to make a scene. Just wave. Beckon. Beckon. You gotta beckon.
That's making a scene.
Beckoning is not making a scene. Making a scene is calling out the name Gene 10 times. You shut up. You shut up.
You didn't have to call out my name.
I did because I couldn't find you.
All you had to do was look.
I did it.
Yeah, baby, behave. We're back. Does Marcus make you horny, baby?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
So anyone listening, that'd be if you're listening. I'm sick for the third time in 2 weeks. I haven't been sick for like 2 years. I had the flu twice in a row, and now I have some fucking cold, and I'm all hopped up on medical juices, and I'm feeling tired and loopy.
DayQuil
So-
or NyQuil?
DayQuil.
Mm.
And then I took the bottle out before I left the house to come do the podcast. Took a big old gulp of it. My wife looked at my daughter and said, "See what Dad's doing? Never do that."
I feel that way because if Jen's drinking a cold medicine,
Yeah.
she uses the recommended dosage
Yeah.
per usage, and I just throw away that thing and I just drink till I feel better.
Yeah.
And it usually helps. Like, yeah, sure, I'll polish off a little bottle of Robitussin Scissor in a day.
Yeah.
But man, I feel great.
You get to tussin. And well, there's that David
Sleep for 2 days.
that David Cross bit about how he's done like every drug on the planet and just alcoholism like motherfucker. Like I think he's mellowed out now, but he's still like totally open to all drugs and he's just, yeah, I'll do whatever. There's one point where it was either crystal meth or crack. He was in England doing like a comedy festival or a show or whatever, and he was at someone's apartment and flat, if you will. Fuck you. And he smoked either the meth or the crack, and he said he had to stand up and leave because it occurred to him, oh no, this is so good. This is the kind of drug that will change your entire life for the worse. So he had to leave. And then the other side of that bit was, but when he's at home, he went to take some NyQuil, but the little plastic cup was missing.
Right.
And then his wife is like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, I can't take the medicine. I don't have the little cup." And she's like, "Just chug it." He's like, "It's medicine." And then he's like, "Oh, like weeks ago I smoked crack. Like, fuck it. Sure, I'll just take a sip of medicine. I'll be fine." But yeah, so apologies to anybody that,
Smokes crack.
yeah, you know what? You're the real hero
Yeah.
or whatever you are.
Keeping that underground market alive.
Oh, God, I saw a guy injecting something into his wrist on the walk home the other day.
It was probably
charming
diabetes.
or diarrhea. He was injecting diabetes.
Well, no, the medicine of diabetes. Diabetes medicine.
Diarrhea.
It's aspartame.
Diarrhea beaties. So speaking of diarrhea beaties, we are talking movie posters today.
Yeah, do we just call this like the topic segment? Focus point?
Focal. What's a design thing? Registration point? No, that's stupid. Zoom?
What's a design tool? Illustrator. We'll call this Illustrator.
Call it Quark Express.
So maybe by the next episode we'll have show segment ideas.
Yeah.
And
Then again, maybe we won't.
we probably won't.
Hashtag.
Maybe we'll build a mood board and feel inspired at some point
Yeah.
for words.
Those always work.
Yeah. So we're talking about
movie posters.
Movie posters, and so I wanted to chat about this. I didn't really want to do like a deep dive, like I did with the luchador stuff, but I had a theory. So this, as with some of our topics, there's a bit of sharing, there's a bit of talking.
Sharing is caring.
Exactly, and so I had a theory that I wanted to look to see if I could find some correlation between when movie posters started to go to dog shit
Yep.
and when Photoshop started coming out and becoming more accessible and easier to get. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, I never paid for it until the first place I worked at that was a design role.
Yeah.
Because it used to be what? It was like $1,000 for the whole thing?
Oh, the whole suite for like the creative suite and all
Yeah.
that they had, it was like $1,600 every like 15 months when they would upgrade. And then you'd have to convince your boss to buy it because it's better. But it was never enough to justify the cost.
No.
For me, anyway. I'm sure for other people who did good work, it was well worth it.
Yeah, so I had earlier versions of Photoshop the same way everybody else did, getting it from either like LimeWare,
Torrent and
yeah,
Yeah,
the early file sharing to
Keygen Crack.
yeah to with some. There's always some sweet techno music. You're like free house music. Now I feel like a true Russian. But those, like as a kid in high school, you'd never be able to afford getting a new version of Photoshop. So he always relied on that.
Yep.
And I didn't meet anyone who ever paid for it until, the first studio.
Yeah.
Which might have been Bully and Signal.
Yeah, and at that point, Adobe was on the
'Cause it wasn't-
subscription plan.
By that time, yeah.
Yeah, the cloud-based,
Yeah.
which was a huge thing because it's like $60 a month versus $1,500 a shot for each person in the studio. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So anyways, I was looking to see, like I watched a few little videos about movie posters and kind of the history. But nobody really talked about when it started to change. So I started looking up, going by year of like movie posters. And it started to happen where movie posters were going from either painted or like traditional art forms versus digital. It started to happen around like 1995, and just after this when I really started to notice. By 1998, 1999, that's when it had gone full force, where I think the third Matrix movie was already out. And you could see the glimmer of those posters of the Photoshop influence of like the fake like shading on or shadow on somebody using like burn.
Yeah, it's
to darken
always
stuff like
so like even modern ones, the light sources are different. The shading's weird when they have to like attach. Like I've heard more than a few stories about how the stars of the movies aren't willing to come back to do a photo shoot for the poster, so they take like a still of their head and put it on somebody else's body, but they never do it right. It's always half-assed and creepy.
So bad. So around that time that they started going to that route, I was like, well, what version of Photoshop is out? And they hadn't even hit CS yet. So Photoshop CS was like 2002 or something like that.
When I started, it was Photoshop 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only version I could find was either Photoshop 6 or 7 around that time. But it also correlates to the lowering of price of PCs in the household. So I don't know. I feel like that was part of the swing. And then I was reading something that like a little bit of a history piece that kind of actually helped explain that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the video that we're going to watch covers that as to why. But I'll just go through a little bit of history that I found.
Let's take a
it's kinda
journey, shall we?
interesting. So film posters, this is from a site called Artflix, and it just goes on to say film posters have always been
Watch
designed
that kerning.
with the
Could be art fucks real quick.
Oh yeah, it is. Always been designed with the commercial intent of getting moviegoers to buy a ticket. It's generally thought that the first movie poster was created in 1890 for the short film called Projections Artistiques, which was a French film. Anything prior to that was just like block letters and a light box saying like "Coming soon" movie title, and that was all you got. You had no idea.
One of 4 movies this year. Gather round.
And so as the movie industry began to grow in the early 1900s, industries quickly realized how valuable they were to actually marketing a movie and to create sales and buzz about it.
Yeah.
And so what they started to like bring color into them. They became collectible. People were just generally interested in them as an art piece, along with like how they generated buzz about a movie.
Yeah.
And then some of the other things that they do is they would print little like almost postcard styles or postcard size movie posters. And
Yeah, they're called like show cards.
Yeah, I would have them in the theaters to take home, and those became collectibles too.
Yeah, the Dobell brothers have a big collection of, because that was like a big deal back then. They're like the hand painted show cards about like concerts or movies, and it was like a big thing. It was quite cool.
Yeah, so the article just goes on to say that through the 20s and 40s, movie studios developed their own style. MGM was known for polished posters that uses pastels on white backgrounds. So like a lot of the, if you see any Elvis movie from certain that time, it's always just like a illustration of Elvis doing something on a white background. That was common. And then 20th Century Fox was about rich, vibrant colors to promote the movies. And then shortly after that, the preference for color in general spanned into movies where Columbia Pictures pioneered the fake color process, which colorized black and white movies.
Yeah.
Black and white stills.
Yeah.
But even then, like, people were like, there was trends. Even some of the early movies, like, what was the movie poster? Ben-Hur.
Yep.
Was like the block stone letters,
Yeah.
kind of like looking down on an angle. Well, that became a trend, and then so there's you can see a bunch of movie posters around that same era, like Life of Brian, things like that copied the same style. So there's trends for sure, but they were still hand painted or created. They were never just like a Photoshop copy. And now the posters are just so uninspired. But there is a group, of course, of a portion of the population that gives a shit and is trying to resurgence that.
Yeah.
So maybe we're talking about Mondo Tees, perhaps.
Yeah.
It's a good segue.
Yeah, it's but speaking about the hand done stuff, I watched, I don't know, maybe like 1.5 episodes of Mad Men.
Yeah.
And just the I didn't really care for the show, but the part I really liked in what little I saw was when the artist would bring like the marketing concepts up to the office, and it would be like this awesome painting of like a sailboat and these people like hanging off, like smoking, and it was just like this beautiful painting. And the guy's like, give him a vest and make her boobs bigger and make the boat blue or whatever. And the guy's like, okay, right away, sir. But it's like when we get that kind of change request, we go on the computer, but they have to go down and like paint shit.
Yeah.
So, and that was only for the concept, because when it gets blown up for like a huge billboard or whatever, there's a whole other process.
Yeah.
But it's just that intentional, like we have people that have to make these things because we can't half-ass it because we can't paint.
Yeah.
But people can half-ass it in like a Photoshop or an Illustrator or whatever they have in their office, and they can slap together some basic shit. But back when things were painted, and what we're going to be getting into, like the art of the movie poster, I mean, they were valued as like, they had to project the vibe of the movie. It wasn't just relying on stars.
Yeah.
It was like, what's this about?
And in terms of like the production, I mean, that's where, like, instead of like the cost and time that it takes for a production studio to make a actual, say, a hand painted poster is going to be a hell of a lot longer than a photo shoot in a Photoshop afternoon.
Yeah.
And so obviously the marketing of a movie, the poster is definitely the last piece of marketing, because it's all about trailers, advertising, merchandising, all that shit.
Bullshit
before.
talk shows. And
Then the poster's the last thing. And by that time, there's no budget, no time, just get something out. It looks like garbage, reuse stuff that's been reused.
Yeah.
And just go for it. So, that's why I appreciate Mondo, mondotees.com. They sell everything from records to like sweet, cool records, posters, collectibles, apparels, pins. But
and the Gremlins tiki mugs that I bought,
yeah,
they're from Mondo.
yeah. A Creature from the Black Lagoon tiki mug. Wow, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
But so the posters that they sell on here for movies are so cool.
Yeah.
It's not the like official. It's never the official poster.
No, it's for their screenings of the movies.
Yeah.
For the Alamo Drafthouse typically,
Mhm.
because they provide the Alamo Drafthouse with all their cool stuff.
Yeah.
I did a bit of poking around, and yeah, the thing that I see is that they feel they should make them because they're big fans of movies.
Mhm.
Where just because you work in the art department at a movie studio doesn't mean you give a shit. It's just your job after a while.
Yeah.
So, and sticking to the script of stuff that we're going to get into later, like your hands are tied by these dumb, boring templates, but these guys are bound by nothing other than like, what do you want to do for this one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like, I mean, you see a poster now and so hold on, let me go back here. So as a teenage boy, I had like the Pulp Fiction poster on my wall,
Yep, me too.
and Enter the Dragon, And like
Yeah.
those were cool pieces of art on their own, and movie or movie not, they're still an interesting composition.
Well, zombie movies have had some of the best posters ever in like the hand-on poster era.
Yeah.
And they were just like bizarre and like tons of bold colors, and they look freaky and like kind of screwed up, where the artistic rendering of what they considered a zombie to be, like now we see like the CGI, like this is what the zombies look like in this, or here's one of its hands or whatever. It's like it looks like a photo, but it's all CGI. But back then, like the makeup wasn't great, so the poster had to be like, this thing's freaky looking.
Yeah.
But we're not going to do a portrait of it. We're just going to like Dawn of the Dead and stuff. It just had a vibe.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think of movie posters today, and like if I was a teen again, I wouldn't have any of them on my wall. Like they're all lame. They're boring.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, here's the group shot of all the characters.
Oh,
How inspiring is that?
yeah. The video we'll check out in a little bit. They go into like the different categories for the different styles of movies, and oh my good Lord, does it ring true? Like, you go to iTunes after that and check out what people are doing, and it's they follow the exact same template. It's like listening to Top 40 radio. It's just the exact same goddamn song.
Floating heads poster style.
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mondo Tees is great if you have any interest in like I'd say like fan driven stuff.
Yeah. But really well done.
Yeah, that's great. And it's always like limited runs of things. So if you want to get it now. Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, Raising Arizona poster we're looking at, it wasn't one of my favorites on their site. It's one of my favorite movies because when I was a kid, like I watched the movie and then I saw like the VHS box in the store, and it's just a painting of like Nicolas Cage and Holly Hunter and the baby they stole, just in like reclining chairs, all like they all got sunglasses on and they're all just hanging out. But it's just like this super basic, like the movie is about these two people and a baby.
Yeah.
What else about it? Like, I don't know. Watch it.
But this was, there's also a time when the posters would have the slogan, like their lawless years behind them, their child rearing years lay ahead. So you kind of understand if you just saw it. And plus this is Raising Arizona, a comedy beyond belief.
Yeah.
So without having seen a trailer, you know it's a comedy. You kind of get the premise of it.
Yeah.
And that's what you get, and you want to go see it from that. And the same
Yeah.
with seeing it, like the VHS at the store. You're like, oh, I hope this movie is good when I rent it.
Yeah.
There's no movie trailer site to go watch these.
No.
On top of that, the one that's film on paper, the next link over. Yeah.
There you
So
go.
this is a site I've had in my bookmarks for years and years and years.
It's
And
filmonpaper.com, y'all.
it's just a site where they archive movie posters and then give you stats on it and details of it.
Oh, wow.
Like who the artist was, if they can figure it or if they can find out, what year it was from, the size, like everything about it. It's all on there. If you
wow.
scroll down a little bit, there's this one here. So
Blades.
Blades, just when you thought it was safe to putt.
Golf, a game of hooks, slices, and slaughter.
Yeah, it's a trauma movie, so they're always terrible. But
It's two guys like shooting a woman on a golf course.
But yeah,
but
so-
she's terrified of what's in front of her, and they're behind. Oh, they're probably shooting at the thing.
could be.
All right, I'm
But then
very smart.
If you scroll like to the right, they have poster details, but it shows you as you scroll down to like it's just either rudely drawn people or they're poorly cut out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it goes on to like give you all these details. And so you can search, you can view by artists, you can view by other things. And if you go to the next link
Mad
over,
Max.
this is the one I've had saved forever. And this is by the artist Tongdi Panamas. And I believe he is a Thai movie poster creator,
Yeah.
but they're so colorful and vibrant
Ooh, die
that
hard.
they are way more appealing than anything I've ever seen. Like
Yeah.
the Escape from New York one is incredible. Like,
Yeah, like everything's just a little off,
Yeah,
but it's all really well done. And
it's like
it's super bright. Yeah,
it's like if those movie posters from Ghana, those artists had seen the movie, because a lot of those posters are what they think the movie is about. They've never seen the movie. Like some of the Nightmare on Elm Street stuff is so. Oh yeah, the Predator one. That's what led me to it. Way back when. Yeah, well, it looks a little off. Like it's still cool.
Yeah,
there's like so many parts from the movie.
Yeah, there's tons going on. Yeah, like it's that classic kind of like what Star Wars did and still continues to do. Just that huge like, let's take every part of this movie and put it in a giant ball and have everything happening, and which I still really like when Star Wars does that. I think they do great jobs of that old school like. It just makes the movie look epic because it's like there's a lot of shit in this movie, and it's kind of like the Costco mentality of like, oh, I feel like I'm getting my value for this movie because there's obviously a lot of shit in it. Like, of course I'll eat 80 cans of cream corn. It's only $4. Like, there's good value here, but the artistry and the colors and just the interpretation of the movie to them to this person. Is it a dude? Is it a lady?
If you go back to the Predator one, I think I actually had a picture of the artist.
Oh, really?
On the right hand side, down in that last row of images.
Oh,
yeah.
And yeah, that's a dude. He looks super grumpy.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's holding out his paintbrushes like Wolverine claws,
which makes sense,
in front of a Predator poster.
Yeah, it's so good. Like,
but yeah, these are awesome,
man. So, anyways, I love the site because it kind of brings back the art of movie posters. But not only that, like you start to consider if you start looking at movie poster differences globally. Which that tweet. That one there gives you an idea of like Monster Squad, which is a classic 80s movie for kids.
Yeah, if you don't know whether or not a wolf man has nards and you have no business listening to the show, you should go watch Monster Squad right now.
He doesn't though.
But he does.
Wolfman ain't got no nards.
No.
But then he kicks him and he does.
But that's the thing.
It was a setup.
It was Wolfman doesn't have nards. Just kick him. Whoa, Wolfman's got nards.
So if you go to those first 4 pictures, like these were different versions of the Monster Squad posters.
So this is a tweet that Marcus grabbed. We'll put a link to it on worstdesignshow.com, just showing the variety stuff. But yeah, so it's a tweet where someone's putting up all the varieties of the Monster Squad posters.
But like description: eyes, bloodshot, complexion, deathly pale. Comments: serious overbite.
Oh yeah, so the first one's like Dracula, then Mummy. It's kind of like it's wanted posters for like classic movie monsters. And if you've seen Monster Squad, you know that like all the classic Universal movie monsters like Swamp Thing and all that, they all converge on this like little town to get this amulet, and then like Van Helsing shows up, and all these kids have to figure out how to defeat the monsters. Oh, and then they thought that one girl was a virgin. And then she wasn't, because that guy didn't count.
You remember way more than I do.
It's a good movie.
I should watch it again. But you go through it, and this one is, I don't know where it's from. Maybe Ecuador? Maybe somewhere South America?
Yeah.
But either way, it's a
yeah.
totally different interpretation. Like the Frankenstein that they painted, it looks nothing like the actual Frankenstein from the movie, which is shown in the poster.
Yeah.
But he looks more like the Boris Karloff Frankenstein.
Yeah, the classic. Like I would say the Dracula looks similar to the one in the movie, but even the Wolfman doesn't, because the Wolfman in Monster Squad has this weird like do you know what was the name? Billy Pepper or whatever, was he in Saving Private Ryan? He's been in a bunch of shit.
Barry Pepper.
He lives in Qualicum. Yes. My dad moved him in. I think the Wolfman looks like Barry Pepper.
Billy Pepper.
Billy Pepper, I think he's a skater. Most of my names come from skateboarding. Marius Sivanian.
I like the Dracula, Frankenstein, El Hombre Lobo, La Momia y El Monstro de la Laguna.
Monster. And then we got another one that is almost got...
but it says Monster Busters. So wherever it's from was a translation issue.
Yeah, or it was a rights issue.
Yeah.
Like how in Australia Burger King is called Hungry Jack's because there was a Burger King there already.
Oh, weird.
Freak out on that.
And then there's one more after this, which is you see a little booby.
Oh,
That's the Italian one.
of course it's Italian. They look nothing like the characters in the movie. Of course there's a naked woman.
Yeah.
La Scovola di Mostri. But again, they're all like hand painted. They all have their own vibe. The Italian one is obviously the worst.
Mamma mia.
Oh, look at the boobies. Oh, and look, if you look at the lady running away, she has a Dracula bite mark on her butt cheek.
Oh.
And he's got I assume a
Fucking
boner. No,
stupid.
that's his leg. But he has butt blood on his little doily napkin thing hanging from his shirt.
But that was the thing, is that when a movie came out in another country, it wasn't just like, oh, let's use the same poster and just use a new title for it.
Yeah.
They made it unique. Like they got a local artist to do it.
Yeah, and it's all like looking at the evolution, because I was doing some poking around and all this, and obviously like some of the most famous movie posters ever done by Saul Bass from the 50s and 60s, and just those like super like the Vertigo ones and Man with the Golden Arm, and there's just
But didn't
it's just Anatomy of a Murder, I think, is another one.
when he was making those, wasn't it because he wanted to go against the grain to what everyone else was doing, and that's why he just went kind of out there?
He wanted to break down to like the essential element of the movie in like basically as few moves as possible.
Right.
So what others do in like the Predator one, like tons of color, tons of detail. You still don't really know what the movie's about. They're probably fighting somewhere with guns, and there's that monster thing and
Yes.
something's whatever. But I'm curious, like Saul Bass's approach, because he had to have just basically like two colors and like one move, like the Man with the Golden Arm poster. Which, if you haven't seen the Man with the Golden Arm, then you're nuts. It's a Frank Sinatra movie from forever ago. And he plays a card dealer that gets out of jail. His name's Frankie Machine. He's a poker dealer. And he's like the best poker dealer ever. But the thing is, back in like the 50s, he was also a heroin addict. So if you watch this movie, he's going through like withdrawals, like there's him shooting up and stuff. So he has to like keep it cool.
Is this the movie with the clip that I sent you, where Frank is talking to all those kids? It must be another movie.
Yeah, it's maybe this one. But anyway, so like it starts off with him getting out of prison. He's like a blackjack or poker dealer. He's a drummer. He has all this stuff. He basically got clean in prison from heroin because he can't do heroin in prison, and then gets back out. His girlfriend or wife she's like depressed and won't get out of bed, and he has to like support her. And then he like falls back down into dealing cards because that's how he makes the most money. And then
Not playing cards, but dealing
Yeah.
cards.
and then he goes back into drugs because that's all part of that world. So
Right.
like the Saul Bass poster is just hand done type, the Man with the Golden Arm, but the arm is all like super crooked and fucked up. And it's just like his arm, he needs it to deal poker, but then he's also shooting it with heroin, which is like making it crooked and screwed up and disfigured.
So I didn't know the synopsis of the movie.
It's still a good movie.
And the title, which looks like it was a book at one point, that's such a good title.
Yeah, so for the 50s, it was like it's a really dramatic movie, and there's like scenes of him shooting up and all this stuff. And the reason he's like the best, well, like organized crime uses him as the dealer to ensure that the house wins because he's so good.
Oh, I see.
So when he starts fucking up, he starts fucking up to the mob, and
Right.
all of a sudden he's in trouble because it's not just him losing at cards; it's him losing card games but he's not playing with his own money. So anyway, and Saul Bass, long walk to get to. He's cool. But looking at his stuff, like obviously that was back in like the 20s and 30s. There's big grand posters and all that. Then Saul Bass came out, and a lot of people are still ripping off his style just because it's so cool and so it's just so uniquely Saul Bass.
Yeah, I just had to write down the title to add it to my movies to watch list.
Yeah, it's awesome. So
that's rad. What were we? How did we get there? I can't remember how we got there. Doesn't matter. Let's jump quickly to one other thing. So there is a gentleman on Twitter by the name of Brandon Schaefer. Yeah, you got it right. Who runs Seek and Speak, who makes posters, and has a podcast called The Poster Boys. And every week they talk about movie posters.
I think the Poster Boys is also a Christian rock band. Or is that the Newsboys?
Newsboys.
Yeah.
But he works for a company called
God is King.
Jump Cut.
That was another.
Jumpcut.New York. And they are an independent advertising company that specializes in creating trailers and posters for movies. So they would be the team that you want something unique and memorable. You go to them for a trailer, for print. And they'll create something unique to it that has actual art direction and isn't just your typical movie poster.
Yeah.
They can't all be winners. They can't all be, timeless. Because if you think about how many, that's the other thing too, is considering how many movies came out back then to how many movies come out now on a daily basis. Like,
oh, it's insane.
It's hard to be memorable, but there should still be some effort.
Yeah, and the video that we're gonna go through in a second and just kind of talk over it, and it really does delve into the like, let's just play it safe, let's just play the hits, and artistic expression isn't really required. But when there is like a really good movie poster, like a modern one, it really stands out. Like if I think about like one of my favorite movie posters from like the last 10 years, it's probably the Moon with Sam Rockwell.
That's a great one.
It's awesome.
It's simple. You get the idea of his aloneness in the movie just from seeing that.
But also after you watch the movie and then you see the poster, the concentric circles around him make all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it was such a bold, simple poster, but it has like tons of layers that, see, I think that's what's missing from a lot of the new shit is they're trying to get you to see it, but there's nothing for you if you have seen it. Mm-hmm. You go back and be like, oh, that didn't even really happen or whatever.
It's a disposable art.
Like it's fun to look back at, like you mentioned the Pulp Fiction poster.
Yeah.
So if you look at the Pulp Fiction poster, there is a lot going on. Like it's the whole thing is supposed to look like the cover of a Pulp Fiction book.
Yeah. Now consider also that this wasn't the first version of it.
Yeah.
There was a couple other versions still with like Uma Thurman in each of the versions. But they had a completely different art direction where they were like two-tone sketching her in different like weird scenarios. Like it just didn't make sense. And then this is the final piece was like, it was perfect for it. It was great.
Yeah. They made the whole thing look like the cover of an old Pulp Fiction book from like the 50s and 60s. Like, and just, it has like the 10 cents on it. Like that's the price it would be back in the day. And it's just, I remember seeing it and thinking, I don't know what it is, but it's jumping out at me for a reason.
Yeah.
And like I bought the movie, I bought the soundtrack, like I was all in.
Yeah.
And it's just like, even we brought up last time or whatever it was, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood website.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because Quentin Tarantino's such like an anal dick about all the details come screaming through, including the posters, including the websites. Like you get sucked into the world. And I think that's what a lot of modern things are missing. Like, there's no world. It's just like, look, it's I don't know, fucking Bradley Cooper again. Do you care? Here's his head, and then below is like a picture of like a truck. It's like he's probably in this truck somewhere. Don't worry about it. He's on. It's the long road home or whatever it is.
What I think it's not the key, but the joy of it, if you will, is you create something that somebody will notice later. So they'll see something in it that they didn't notice before that was relevant to the movie. There's something lasting about it that you keep going back to. Whereas now, like I said, it's just like, it's just all the characters. And that's it.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny. I mean, looking at the state of movie posters as compared to the state of album covers, like the last episode we did with Miles and Ryan, people look like they're still trying with album covers.
Yeah.
And then I wonder if because it's just a smaller machine or less, it's more of an individual expression, because like a band does not make a movie. Like the Milk Carton Kids weren't given, which is a great band, weren't given $300 million from Marvel Studios to make an album where they need to make their money back. Like, the investment's considerably lower. It's much more intimate, personal expression, like an album.
Yeah.
So then maybe the impetus is on the studios to be like, no, we have to, like, the vibe has to come through, and the marketing campaigns aren't as big, so maybe they can dump a little more time and money into like a good album cover.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to. It doesn't have to be translated into like Afghanistan. Like, what are we going to do for the album cover there? What are we going to do for the one in Ireland? Fucking Limerick, listen. But yeah, I never thought about the difference between movies and albums still care. For the most part, it seems.
Books as well. So
book covers that's a whole other episode.
Yeah, because some book covers will invest in it, others won't. But then with hardcovers, you can take that cover off, and then it becomes just words.
Which I always do.
It looks cool.
And
it always looks better. That shit gets torn.
I hate the feeling of like the floppy paper when I'm
the soft cover,
pretending to read a book,
or
and then get bored and watch
the cover
movie.
The cover of the hardcover.
I don't like the paper sleeve on the hardcover.
Right.
When you open it, it like flops out and all that. Yeah. So like as soon as I get if it's a hardcover book, I take the cover off and I recycle it, and then I just have the hardcover book. It does look cooler. Often there's like an embossed like little gold stampy or whatever. It's just a simple thing.
With those prints as well, if they do like a reprint of a book or a new republication, sometimes they'll change the cover, and so you might have multiple cover types for the same book.
Yeah,
like different versions of it and different iterations.
Yeah, then the ones where they have like all the reviews on the front too.
Oh,
like God. It's just such like a. Like, I don't wear a T-shirt that like explains what other people think of me. Yeah, it's just like, this guy looks unpleasant. Let's see how this goes.
And what's interesting is that it kind of goes back to like with a book. Say you're in physical space, you can pick it up, you can read the synopsis on. You can like read the inner pages to see like what it's about, get an idea. Yeah, I think it's less about what it looks like to increase or to affect purchase power. Whereas a movie poster, you only have that poster to explain the movie, to get you excited about it without the trailer. Yeah. To convince somebody. So it's so much harder. I think there's just more emphasis on, there used to be more emphasis on pushing that forward. Same with albums.
Yeah. So let's get into this video I found, which when I saw the title and the first, like the thumbnail, I was like, oh, this is going to be the most annoying bag of shit on the planet. It's called WTF Happened to Movie Posters. Now, I hate acronyms. I hate abbreviations. If someone comes to my house for dinner and we have guacamole out and they call it guac, I will like, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. It won't be good though. I just freak out. I hate when people do it. I don't know why. There's something wrong with me. I'm not saying there's something wrong with them. Once somebody abbreviated afternoon to aft.
No, and see, that's not even so. Please continue your tirade. So I'm just gonna make a note of that, never to call it guac.
Oh. The full word is so much cooler. Or when people abbreviate things like Trump to save time and words. But when they abbreviate something down to a form where it's the exact same number of syllables as the words themselves, like WTF, what the fuck? I'm not saving time there.
Right.
Just bring it home, baby.
It's more for reading.
Nah, not a fan of that either.
In another older person rant, anytime I saw the use of goat,
Greatest of all time.
yeah, I had to look it up
Ricky Carmichael.
a while ago. It's like, why are they calling Michael Jordan a goat?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
No.
I was like, oh, well, yeah, he is the greatest of all time. Why don't you just say greatest of all time?
Or it says it all when you say Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
That kind of wraps it up.
Yeah.
Like if there's debate,
he's the Mayweather
then they're not
of
the
basketball.
greatest. Yeah, he won basketball many times, and he kept his he may have kept his hairline longer than LeBron. We don't know. He was shaving it pretty good.
Did you see that Jose Canseco's going to be a professional wrestler soon? I can't wait for it.
God, that I was reading after the Bash Brothers came out because I'm curious, like what happened to Jose. They called me Jose, and I'm Mark. But apparently he made like $47 million over his career.
Yeah.
And now I looked on Celebrity Net Worth, like that shit's accurate anyway.
Yeah.
And he's worth like $200,000. So let that be a lesson, kids. Cocaine might be a lot of fun, but it's expensive as a motherfucker.
And steroids might grow your muscles, but they won't grow your career in the long term.
Or your weenus or his underground friends, the balls. I guess not underground. Basement dwellers.
They're underground nuts. Would that be like long ass ball, Larry?
We got some long ass balls.
Yeah.
Long ball layer.
So
All
let's watch what the fuck happened to movie posters.
Yeah.
What the hell happened to movie posters? And that
Turn this shit
and
up.
art in general. Posters used to have this great artwork.
So they're
that
showing
would
that
draw you right
Alien
to
and
it. Even
Vertigo.
old video games had these amazing hand-painted covers.
Oh, commercial time.
Well,
Just mute it. So on top of him mentioning video games, there
Yeah.
was Konami back in the Nintendo days.
Contra.
Contra, Metal Gear, Bayou Billy,
Bayou Billy.
a bunch of those.
But I played Bayou Billy because it had such a good cover,
We get 2 ads, by the way.
and then the game was terrible.
Yeah.
But I played it because of the cover.
Monday.com is a platform.
Oh, fucking Monday! It's
So-
Thursday.
So, anyways, there was this. I remember watching an interview with the guy who designed all those covers, and it was just crazy to see because I was like, oh, I remember all those. They were all the same,
Yeah.
and it was all done by one person. Like, chances are it was the same guy who did these
Haunted
Atari.
House video. Ghost, bats, tarantulas, one player. What a great description. Ghost, bats, tarantulas, one player game.
It's like that recycled story you saw.
Oh, it's just around the corner.
Is it?
Yeah. They put a bulleted list on their door sign, and then the bottom one, the font is like 2/3 the size of the other one, but not to save space because all it says is second hand. It says 2ND hand.
Oh,
Yeah. So anyway, back to movie posters. Thanks Vimeo and
Don't forget the
Monday.com. And I won't. And don't forget to tip your wait staff. Just
Video
fine.
games had
fine
these
nowadays.
amazing hand-painted
Video
covers,
games.
But now all we get is scowling gun-toting guy, or the new trend, constipated sports superstar.
That's
Although
fair.
I'm not going to talk video game covers today.
Aw.
I'm gonna focus
Thank
on movie
Christ.
posters and just how lazy and generic they've become. Now,
so,
So-
that was Bangkok Dangerous with Nicolas Cage,
Yeah.
and a very interesting one. And then what was it, Puss in Boots?
And Unforgiven, which is a gnarly movie.
Yeah.
The Clint Eastwood and then Puss in Boots and Clint Eastwood are in the exact same pose.
keep in mind, I'm not going to
Yeah.
talk about the quality of the films, just the artwork that's being used to market them. In the early days, movie posters
So
were
showing a
something that would grab
Rocketeer
your
one,
attention.
which is
Either
awesome.
the colors popped, the design stood out, or it just plain looked cool.
There you go. Marcus's They Live. Roddy Piper's finest movie.
So even the poster itself has, like, it has the description. What does it say? Like, you are.
Oh, you
watch
see them on the street. You
watch-
watch them on TV.
You might even something this fall.
It's like it says you're something
You're-
dead wrong.
Yeah. So either way, you get the whole idea that they're all around you, and those glasses are going to do something special, and
Yeah.
that's what you're going to see. the movie itself, I fucking love that movie.
And Rowdy Roddy's gonna rip some shit up because that dude only has one gear, and it's fuck you.
Well, because he's also good at kicking ass and chewing bubblegum, and he's all out of bubblegum. That's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And there's like that 10-minute long fight in the alleyway with no music. It's so good.
Yeah.
Either way,
Take a look at the original poster for Friday the 13th.
it's great.
The outline of the killer with the woods filling in the body and a group of potential victims.
And it's like a
Along with
hand
the
painted
tagline,
something.
They were warned.
Not
they're
perfect, but
doomed,
it's got a
and on
vibe.
Friday the 13th, nothing will save them. Ominous, creepy, and unique. What do they do for the remake poster? Jason Voorhees standing in the woods with the tagline,
Yeah.
"Welcome to Crystal
It's an
Lake."
overly
Now, the
photoshopped
mindset is
photo.
that they wanted the reboot to be for a new audience. If the potential audience had never heard of Friday the 13th before, they wouldn't know what Crystal Lake was or
Yeah.
who this guy was either.
So really, what they showed in the first one was, the outline of the killer, which in the first one is Jason Voorhees' mom.
But you don't, and that's the thing is there's the mystery to it.
It's
of,
like,
you
who's
don't
killing
know.
the kids?
Yeah.
But then in the reboot, it's like straight up, this is a bad guy. He has a machete. Guess what you have to do when you see him run, and then guess what he's going to do? Somehow casually walk beyond you, and then like chop your head off, like as soon as you smoke a joint or something like that.
Yeah.
So
A similar problem was with the Nightmare on Elm Street
Oh,
poster.
those are so
You
good.
have the
yeah,
original
so
that
like
has
the face is
many
so
elements to
demented, it
draw
doesn't
you
look
in
anything like
versus the
Freddy.
reboot
Yeah.
poster, which is just Freddy standing there. Instead
Yeah.
of nitpicking
Welcome to your
individual
new
posters all
nightmare.
day, let
Oh,
me
the
look at
Switch, where it has Jason Bateman smelling a cup of semen. That's a bad movie.
The worst of the worst. These are some of the most common movie poster styles out today. First up is a big one, teal and orange.
Yeah, so this was a big thing for me. It showed the John Carter, which is apparently a thing.
John Carter.
I think it's
Oh.
a Disney action something. Anyway, it's just like him with his shirt off, and in the back there's like a beast, and then the teal and orange, which they bring up here, and then I went on to iTunes or check out Netflix or check out whatever. That color combination is insanely everywhere. It's crazy.
Right. That's
Any graphic arts designer will tell you that if you take two
That's
colors
disappointing.
from the opposite end of the color wheel, they'll complement one another. Green and red, yellow and purple, and of course, teal and orange. Now, green and red is great for something
The
Christmassy.
Grinch.
Teal and orange works with just about
oh
anything.
my god.
The contrast in color
So they show
really does make it stand out.
127 hours. Then they go into Batman.
Problem with this? Well, being such a common theme, especially
boy.
amongst the summer action blockbusters.
Oh boy.
You now have
Avatar,
multiple
Airbender,
movies coming out
Night-
around the
it's
same
crazy,
time
hey?
With the
Mhm.
same style poster.
Like, it's
Even
lazy
if the
now.
movies online or in the store all look the same. No wonder people get fooled by the assignment.
Transmorphers?
Yeah, so they have the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Then to the right, they have the Transmorphers poster, which is the exact same colors in the exact same spots with a different kind of robot. But if
You know-
if you were a kid, you're like, oh, this is probably another like Transformer thing. Then you're gonna get fooled by some horseshit made in like
Do you-
Bogota.
Do you
is
know
that a place?
Yes, it is. It's the capital of
Colombia.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
fuck you, maps.
where this would have been an issue as a kid is if you said to your parents, like, can you go rent me Transformers? And then they go to the video store and like, we got you Transformers. And it's like, no, it's Transmorphers.
That's
like,
fair.
And then they go, what's the difference? It's robots and men.
Coke, Pepsi. What's the diff?
It's what I would ask for Quaker oatmeal
Mm-hmm.
from the grocery store. And at the time, my mom would get me like President's Choice or No Name brand. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not the same. It tastes different. It's like, I don't know.
It's sick.
Next up is the giant floating head posters. I understand the need to
Ugh.
promote the star power in your films, but this is just lazy.
Yeah, so all these have like all the stars of the movies. Again, they call it giant floating head. That's what it looks like. They're up at the top. I'm sure you've seen them a million. Like, if you go to worstdesignshow.com and watch this video in the privacy of your own screen, you're gonna see, oh fuck, like I've seen that 100 times. I've seen that 10,000 times. And we're just so used to seeing it now that I think we're conditioned to know what kind of movie it is by the style they use. But this is like the big floating head. Then below, they just have like a little scene. But everything's like feathered so poorly. It's just, it's
It's
You take
bad.
a
God
little
awful.
movie and fill the lower third of the panel. Then
Uh-huh.
usually you put the star of the production front and center,
Johnny
with the
Depp.
supporting cast covering the
John
sides
Depp.
in descending order in accordance with their popularity. Or for a cool poster like Unstoppable, the image of a runaway train wasn't enough for the studio, so they had to squeeze in the heads of Denzel Washington.
Yeah, so there's like the first poster was cool. It was like photoshopped, but it was like this speeding train, someone hanging off the front of it, like shooting back at like a helicopter, and a guy on the roof of the train. It's like, cool. That looks like actiony, but then they shrunk the entire thing by half, just put fucking Chris Pine's head there. Like, it's like, oh, it's got Chris Pine in it? That's great. Like, you can put Denzel Washington, Denzel Washington's also in it. You could just put Denzel Washington's name on the front, and I'll be like, oh, I'll check that out. I know what he looks like.
Is this the sequel to Fugitive?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't kill my wife. Great. That's a direct quote.
Or this is the sequel to Throw Mama from the Train?
Oh, they got to get Mama back on the train.
Yeah, get Mama back on the train. She's unstoppable.
Washington and Chris Pine. The Scream films and the others from that mold did a slight
Scream,
variation
yeah.
on this,
Faculty.
with the floating heads in the background and the cast slightly staggered at the bottom. If it's a romantic drama, then usually it's two floating heads, most
Yeah.
often over a beach. Or if it's a Nicholas Sparks movie, it's a close-up of two people about
You
to
guys
kiss
got to watch this because
over
it's
a beach.
insane.
Now, if
Oh.
the movie has big stars, of course you want the people to be...
You know, as you pause it there, it's
Yeah.
on the movie poster for The Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio. The
Spaghetti-O.
the coloring of it reminds me of the painting from Ghostbusters 2 of Vigo.
Vigo.
Yeah,
So-
I am Vigo.
But the coloring, what colors are they using in this one?
That would be orange and teal.
Oh, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And they have the airplane flying right at the poster.
If I
at your
didn't know any
face.
better, I'd say that on the left wing, that would be some Photoshop flare
Oh, that is the lensiest.
or
That's-
lens flare.
J.J. Abrams has to change his pants after you see
Yeah.
that kind of shit.
All I can see is now is Vigo the Carpathian.
Yeah. Vigo. But yeah, it's got Leonardo DiCaprio's head, who looks like an angry god coming out of the clouds.
Yeah.
But again, if you put Leonardo DiCaprio on the poster, people know, oh, I can expect good things from him, or I don't like him, whatever it is. But putting his head isn't going to convince anybody. But
his name is larger than the title of the movie.
yeah, and it's wider than the plane.
It's also bigger than Martin Scorsese's name, and
Yeah.
it says, "Some men dream the future. He built it."
Yeah. So
aware that there
it's
is
just lowest
talent.
common denominator.
However, what if your main cast aren't well known yet?
Gilbert
Back in
Grape.
2007,
Oh,
the
this one's
general
good.
public really didn't know who Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox were yet. The studio already put
They
out
still
a teal
kinda
and
don't.
orange poster, so they followed it up with a floating head poster. Only
What?
since the stars of the movie were relative unknowns at the time, they put the floating heads of the robots on the poster.
Yeah, so in this one, it's another teal and orange. The humans are down below, tiny, and then it's. And at this time, this was like the new Transformers. Like the Transformers that I knew when I was a kid didn't look anything like these. Like Megatron looks like some like demented like aluminum foil crab face.
Yeah, he's so
But back in the
weird.
day, he looked. I don't know. He kind of had like almost like a metallic He-Man haircut.
Yeah, he was very gender neutral.
Yeah.
A lot of gray.
He had a big thrusting codpiece,
Yeah.
and I salute you for it. But yeah, on this one, they took these new robot heads, which people don't know. The Optimus Prime, it's close enough, but the other ones are, yeah, so they used the CG characters as the draws because LaBeouf wasn't the insane madman he is today.
Yes, because Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Megatron are major players. Sometimes the floating head posters are even dumber than that.
Yeah,
In the
Star
posters
Trek.
for X-Men First Class, you have these great
Oh, these
black
are
and
cool.
white posters with the outlines of Magneto and Professor X.
Which don't do anything. Like, what is that? It's terrible. The thing is, like, the black and white would have been more interesting if the
Yeah.
if the composition and direction was more interesting. But they're not in movement. They're not doing anything. They're just standing or sitting, and it's fucking boring.
Well, yeah, there's one guy wearing a cape off his shoulder
It's
in
Magneto.
silhouette, and then another guy who's in a wheelchair.
Professor Xavier.
It's like, want to see these guys tangle? I bet the guy in the wheelchair is going to lose.
It's like who can it be behind those shadows?
Okay, but watch what they do to this after these posters didn't test well. Check it
They
out.
stood out because of the contrast between the black and white. This wasn't good enough for the studio. They had to put Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy's heads in there, and what looks like something done by a high school student using Photoshop for the first time.
Why are their faces coming out of their crotch?
They look like giant Quatos from Total Recall. Again,
Or Krang.
sweet Krang. But yeah, so like the silhouette poster is white background, black silhouette. It just says X-Men First Class, 6/311 at the bottom. By this time, this is like the 5th X-Men movie. People know what they are. Having the black and white posters huge on a billboard or outside a theater would stand out from the other posters.
If they're, yeah.
But what they did is they feathered James McAvoy's and Frank's head on
From Frank?
the movie Frank.
Michael Fassbender?
Hey, where's the big paper mache head? That's an awesome movie.
Oh, yeah.
Frank's head.
Sorry.
So they like feathered their faces into their stomachs, and they're huge, just so people you're like, oh, clearly a James McAvoy vehicle. Like he was a
Now-
draw back then.
Now I know who's in it.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go see it.
You know what? I think I'll give these X-Mans a try because James McAvoy, who's not Harry Potter, I think, is in them.
Oh, I've heard about these X-Men. Are they used to be men?
Are they transitioning?
Is it
Because I've always pictured Fassbender with a hog.
is it a Jenner thing?
Gender thing.
X-Men. Caitlyn Jenner.
And Caitlin's
As
revenge.
Magneto.
Juicy as the floating head posters are, the next ones are even worse. This is the main
Battleship.
character's head or face with words on it.
Yeah, so they're showing Matt Damon one where he looks like he has some kind of need
I like
that
Jennifer Lawrence.
some other people don't. And then it's just these huge like sans serif type over the face. The other one was it was George Clooney, and it was his face was out of focus. But yeah, just huge type over the face. And I see this in graphic design a lot. It's almost like a cheat. It's like a fine photo. It's like I'll just use huge white type over it, and that's the header for the website.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't fucking do anything. It's just once it becomes so ubiquitous, it stops being effective if it was ever effective originally.
But that's the thing is like these posters don't do anything to sell the movie at this point. Like House at the End of the Street. The secret is dying to get out. Okay.
It's Jennifer Lawrence's head, and it looks like in like a red Bic pen that is kind of shooting out a little too much ink. It doesn't even look like they wrote it on her face. They wrote it on the picture of her face.
They did because you can tell that in some of the areas they set the blend mode to multiply.
So it looks like they should have made it look like these words are cut into her face. But if that's not a part of the movie, then it don't mean nothing.
Yeah, and even if those were written on her face, like on the actual on her actual, it wouldn't have made sense because it'd be like, is she crazy?
Is she the house? Is she the street?
Did she write that on her face, or did somebody else? How did she write that backwards?
I wonder if she knows the guy from Frank.
Exactly.
These are questions we're just asking that we're not. We received no
What
help.
does a close-up of her face with "House at the End of the Street" do to make me want to see the film?
Hey, that's what I
The
just
7
said.
Pounds
Yeah.
poster tells me about a secret, and it's starring Will Smith. Anthony Hopkins shot his wife.
Yeah, it's just a picture of Anthony Hopkins says, "I shot my wife,"
Oh, okay.
and then to be continued. I mean, I preferred when he was eating Ray Liotta's brain. Shooting a wife seems, we've all had our bad days. It doesn't seem that far of a reach. But I'm not going to eat Ray Liotta's brain. Or feed it to him, I guess.
That's just not kosher.
And then this one was one of the most offensive at all. It's a picture of,
Just-
God bless him, John McClane from Die Hard. In Die Hard 11, whatever it is now, it says, Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Russia.
Which is so bad. It's a bad play on a slogan.
The only good play on Yippee-ki-yay, Motherfucker was from Brooklyn Nine-Nine with Boyle.
Right. What did he say?
And he said, Yippee-ki-yak, other buckets. And he's like, that's not what it is, but we're still in the moment. And that's the only acceptable substitution. And that's what my middle kid, he is going as John McClane from Die Hard 1 as Halloween this year. And he wants to say the catchphrase, but I was like, you got to Brooklyn Nine-Nine it. And his eyes lit up. He's like, Yippee-ki-yak, other buckets. So if it's acceptable to him.
Do you remember what
Oh,
do you remember what the TV the PG-13 version of that saying is? Is it like
Oh. But it was like, was it like Mother Lover or something? Or like,
It was something like
But
that.
it was like Mother Freaker or something.
Yeah, like I remember it was very. I'm sorry, I'm totally distracting for this. Is Yippee-Ki-Yay edited? TV edit. What does he say? There's a Yippee-Ki-Yay Mr. Falcon.
Mr. Falcon. Nobody in that movie is named Falcon.
Yeah, I think from Die Hard 2.
The one in the airport?
Yeah, he says.
I don't like that one.
Yippee-Ki-Yay Mr. Falcon. I don't know about the first one, but either way, moving on.
All right.
It's not Mother Russia.
The god of thunder.
Yeah,
a
Thor.
bunch of words.
Was that Steve Carell where he plays that guy with a dead brain who pretends he's a toy or something?
I think that was Bradley Cooper. That's two references.
God
God of
Thunder.
thunder.
Pooper
A
Scooper.
bunch of
Oh, it is Bradley Cooper. Dennis
Yeah.
Quaid. The Words. It's literally called The Words. It's filled with words.
There's more than one way to take a life, is the slogan. What the fuck's it about?
words.
Words.
Know her name. Is this before or after I need to remember his name?
Walter
I know
White.
It's a TV show, but it worked. The worst of these is
Yeah.
the string of Seth Rogen head posters. I think the guy's funny, but this face makes me not want to see the film.
Yeah,
Why
they
are
just
posters?
showed 3 giant, chubby Seth Rogen heads, all looking kind of like, what? Or like, I'm too high to give you a straight answer, buddy. And yeah, it is kind of weird that he was
The face of comedy.
but he does look goofy.
Yeah.
But also, when he comes out with a new movie, I'm aware of it because I'm a fan. I wouldn't be like cycling through and be like, oh my God, he's in a new movie. I didn't even know. Like, you tend to kind of follow the people you like and are aware of them. Right.
Sidebar, the movie Long Shot that he's in.
Not great.
I liked it.
It was funny. I think it could have been improved structure wise. Why did he have to dress like a fucking like GHB selling 14-year-old at all times? I get he was clinging to youth, but his youth wouldn't have dressed like that.
Yeah, that was
It was distracting.
I agree. It was, and I didn't feel that it was necessary to that level.
Yeah. It was almost too like, all right, fucking put away your like sun ice windbreaker that you got because it's ironic.
Yeah.
Like you look like an asshole all the time.
Yes.
Posters have gotten so bad, it's almost like they have these templates and color palettes pre-made depending on the style of film.
Yeah, so that was one of the ones I liked quite a bit. It was on the left. It was the cover for
Daredevil.
Was it the Daredevil TV show or was it? Hold on, you
And
go ahead a
color
little bit.
palettes pre-made.
Daredevil. Was that Ben Affleck?
I think that's the Affleck.
So they have the Affleck Daredevil, and then they have the Judge Dredd, just Dredd 3D, both standing on the exact same building. It looks like from the exact same angle with the same buildings. It looks like behind them, but in the Dredd one, they're on fire.
So this is where you could say there's no copyright for movie posters. Like you can't trademark art direction on a movie poster. So it's a free market for ideas.
Grip it and rip it. What I will say, these two together, because so if you go to worstdesignshow.com and check out this video and check out these posters, these two in particular, the Daredevil and the Dredd ones, reminds me of when Sin City came out, and they had different posters for different characters, and and they were all side by side.
Right.
They look like, oh, sweet. That's like, it's almost like a collector thing. Like every character got their own poster.
Mm-hmm.
This looks like that, but these are different movies.
Right. Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
Depending on the style of film. Got a quirky indie movie? Better break out the golden yellow.
Oh my God.
Animal movie? A cool blue, sometimes paired with green, and other times with the white of the full moon. Action
Fuck
movie?
off.
Orange and white.
And a lot of the action movies too, they have diagonal text. It's like a skewed text, and then they put it on a diagonal to be like action. It looks like
make
it's
it
moving or
fast.
something. But yeah, after watching this, I checked it out. So many are white and orange and black, and so many the text is on a slant, on an angle. It's really It's fucking.
If you don't want to do the orange and white combo for your action movie, you
There's
could
a
always
transporter or
do the view
whatever.
from behind the character, where they're sometimes looking over their shoulder and usually carrying a weapon.
Fuck.
Yeah.
When you start seeing them, like the same thing over and over. I mean, at the same time, it's also, so while I could consider it lazy, if you look, you could take 1,000 websites that all look the same too.
Yeah. I just said the full header photo with white type over it.
Yeah. And apps that all look the same too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you're given a different media type to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is such a easy case where you're like, just like
Fuck it.
Look through 5 different styles. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. And there's another video that I was considering cutting clips out of because it looked interesting. It was like the science of movie posters.
Oh.
And it was on a video from Vanity Fair, and there's a guy who is a movie poster designer, and I thought he was going to be like picking things apart, but essentially he's justifying his own existence by saying, and when I do a comedy movie, I do a white background and I isolate the characters and I do red type, and you see a lot of places do that. I thought he was going to say like this is all shit, but he was basically celebrating how predictable and boring his shit is.
If you make these for a living, you get into work and you're like, oh, I got to make 20 today.
Yeah.
Oh, what am I doing? Oh, yep, done. Ship it.
Like I need one font with 20 weights.
Like
then I
there's
got 20 posters.
5 minutes of approval and
Yeah.
then it's gone. That's
Yeah.
it.
The newer variation on this is guys standing in front of some huge obstacle they must overcome. Horror, close-up of an eye. Having a one for the eye makes sense.
Yeah, so there's a movie called The Eye, apparently, and one of them is a big, it's a very poorly done poster. A big eye with like a bridge kind of thing and a kid walking into it, and the other one is pretty cool. It's an eye with like a tiny hand worth of fingers like crawling out of the eye. Jessica Alba? Isn't it Alba? It's blurry. I'm sick.
But it's definitely not a B. That's a
Yeah.
W.
But the Skeleton Key? The Grudge 2? Got a thriller? Light blue, usually with a floating head slightly askew and often with someone
off.
running. Romantic comedy or something with a
It's like
sexy
ruining
element.
Christmas.
Oh my
The
God.
ever-popular shot between a woman's legs.
That's
Speaking
definitely
of
like
romantic
an
com-
80s, early 90s thing too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's
Yeah.
like, it's got a sexy gal in it. Like,
Meatballs too.
and then always like shows the guys like kind of like crouched down in between her legs looking out like, what are we going to do? We don't have a driver's license. It's like, why is that girl there? And why do you feel comfortable enough to be like, pardon me, mom? Like maybe crouch between your knickers. Like it's such a gross
comedies.
thing.
These are usually
Oh.
with the two leads standing back to back,
Yeah.
the guy making a dopey face and the girl grabbing his tie or scarf to show that she's
McConaughey.
really the one in charge.
Ooh.
You
The
absolute
face with words
legend.
spun off into the face with eyes covered, usually depicting a dramatic thriller. There are a few others that aren't as common, like
Date
the
movie.
blank movies, where a bunch of actors stand around and usually one of them has a shirt with a catchphrase on.
Yeah, so there's Scary Movie 2, Scary Movie 3. The first one is wearing a shirt that says I'll. Where does it say? No, it's I see. Fuck.
I see dead people.
I literally watched that movie last night with my 2 youngest kids. It freaked them the fuck out.
Which part? The whole
The whole
twist. The twist. What?
But
a
they were like
twist.
crying when like that girl was sick, and then like her stepmother was keeping her sick, and all that. Like it was.
Sorry, the 2 youngest were watching.
Yeah.
It? Oh.
We made a list of 18 movies they want to watch in October leading up to Halloween, and
And they made the choices.
yeah, I helped. I'm not gonna watch shit.
I mean, it's a great movie to watch, and if you're old enough to understand the twist, then you're like,
Oh, when the twist hit, my daughter got it before my youngest son, but I could see when each of them got it because they looked at me and their mouths like dropped. They're like, "Oh my god!"
yeah.
I was like, "I know, motherfucker." It's like you could only feel this once with this movie,
Yeah.
but it's so like I haven't seen that movie in probably over a decade. Still so good.
It's great.
It's really, really cool. But anyway, so yeah, so the posters we're looking at, one Scary Movie, 1, 2, 3. Marlon Wayans, comic
So,
saint,
I
has a
see-
shirt that says "I see dead people,"
And then the second
which isn't even a joke.
no. And then the second one is I heart dead people.
And then a girl on a Ferris is wearing it says "What lies beneath," which is just a name of another movie.
And the third one says, does it say start loving down here?
Start living down here.
Oh. Huh.
Is that? Do you ever see the movie The Cave or something?
Oh.
Or there's one where people go like they go underground, and apparently it's really good.
Descent.
Yeah,
It's real good.
Yeah?
Well,
All right.
I mean, it's not scary, but it's about this group of people who go spelunking and discover these cave people who are humans that have evolved with no light.
Oh, like cave fish that have no eyes.
Yeah. It's got some interesting moments, but it's not. It's all right.
All right. Well, I feel I've seen it. Moving on.
There's also the actors in a box surrounded
Sherlock
by more
Holmes.
boxes, or the ever-popular mosaic. Oh, and
I feel like the mosaic trend is finally like it hasn't been resurfaced for a long time.
Yeah, the mosaic one they were just showing was when they take like 1 million photos or stills and use the colors to construct the image of a face, like with all the different colors and all that kind of stuff. So I was working in a poster store called Poster City in the mid 90s.
Yeah.
And that's when those like first started coming out. And there's like a Darth Vader one, and everyone's like, oh my God, look at this. And fuck, that hung around a long time.
Just looking at this Eddie Murphy poster up
For
close,
Boomerang.
I'm just noticing how white his eyes are.
Yeah.
And that they would have at the time had to cut that out and like replaced it with
Yeah, it's like
or painted it.
unnervingly white.
Yeah, it's creepy.
And Eddie Murphy is contractually obligated to raise one eyebrow in every poster. So
But that one, his best movie poster that they just showed a little clip of, The Golden Child.
Osmosis. Oh no.
Osmosis. That is a stunning film. But Golden Child, it was that old school, hand painted, like Big Trouble in Little China style.
Talking about posters that are amazing.
That could be one of the greatest.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
where does this leave us? The problem is basically the studios dump so much money into the production and the trailers. Well, not so much the trailers themselves, but the payouts of what they're attached to. For example, a 30-second spot during the Super Bowl costs $4 million. Putting the trailer on primetime TV and having it air every commercial break can easily rack up the millions. So by the time the studio allocates the money for the poster that's attached to the film, they usually give the artists the least amount of time and the least amount of money to churn out anything worthwhile.
Corky
I miss the
Romano.
days when posters and cover art were
shit.
something exceptional.
So I find that statement to be bullshit.
Which statement?
That by the time they're done buying ads, they can't afford to do a movie poster.
Oh, I don't think they can't afford it. I think they just don't care. I realized that when I said earlier that I thought that maybe it was a budget issue.
No, what he just said was by the time they're done, they don't have enough money.
Oh, of course they have money.
Like if they had $10,000 and they went on Dribble and said, hey, who wants to make a movie poster for $10,000?
Yeah.
You would get 100 people being like, me, and they're probably all pretty good. Like,
exactly.
But it's just that it's like top 40 horse shit or like.
But they also don't need it to sell the movie anymore.
Yeah.
So why would they invest time and effort into it?
But it's that repetition breeds familiarity when you see the poster with a shot from the back and then the guy's holding a gun looking over his shoulder and it's all like blue.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know what kind of movie that's going to be. But I don't want to know what, like one of the most surprising movie covers I've seen recently was that Midsommar. It's like a Swedish kind of thriller horror movie, which I want to watch.
Yeah, it's from the people who did that other demon one. Oh, shit, I can't remember. Anyways, sorry.
Devil Wears Prada?
Yeah, isn't the cover just like the sky with the people dancing? It's got
It's
lower
like a
shot.
big field of flowers, and there was that, but then there was another one where it just had a real close-up shot of like a woman screaming and crying. And it was like that contrasted with the first one where it's just two people walking in a field. Like all the lighting's the same and all that, but you can tell like, oh, through the posters, I could tell that shit gets pretty sideways at some point during the movie. And I was like, now I want to watch it.
Right, and the slogan says, let the festivities begin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
with the lady crying.
And that means what? Something.
Yeah. It's from the director of Hereditary.
Oh, my oldest kid saw that. He said that was gnarly.
Yeah, it was all right. The thing is, watching that, it takes a lot of, and I use influence lightly.
Yeah.
With super quotes. A lot of things from the Exorcist movies.
Yeah.
That were just like, yeah, it's been done before. And so people who never watched those movies, of course, would be like, whoa, that's visually upsetting. But if you've watched any of those old movies, you're like, yeah, it's all been done.
That's fair. The
Something
Exorcist
you would
right
frame
there.
and hang
The
on
Thing.
the wall,
The
and not
Thing
just a dull
is
5-minute
so-
Photoshop class project.
The movie,
Right
the
now, there's
poster, the Thing is, the original is so good.
Yeah.
Fuck. Then they tried to remake it and almost
Was that
ruined
the
it.
Kurt Russell?
Yeah.
And the ice station up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was heavy. Like that. I remember watching it and feeling trapped. Like it's just them with this alien whatever thing, they don't know what it is. Outside is like death because it's the Arctic. And then inside you're fucked because the thing's there.
Yeah.
It's just like you felt panicked and trapped.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Handmade movie posters that are blowing the ones the production made out of the water. And the minimalist ones are a little overdone, but some of them are flat out awesome. Putting the quality of the films aside, look at it this way. Would you rather have the hand coming out of the grave poster of the original Evil Dead versus the bland, the most terrifying film you will ever experience poster
Which is
of the
not
Evil
a
Dead
stupid
remake?
claim.
I guess all I'm asking for is a little more creativity and just a hint of effort. But I do realize I'm asking this of the same people who just greenlit It's a Wonderful Life 2. Because that's what we need.
I don't think they did.
No, he put
don't think
Wonderful
that
Life 2,
happened.
Life Harder, whatever. So, but yeah, that, while that fascinated me in a way, it also just bummed me out because it's like there's nothing you can really expect from a bigger studio other than the shit they've done before.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when something is cool now, then it does stand out.
Mm-hmm.
And with something like Mondo Tees and Alamo Drafthouse and even just the fans making cool shit, I mean, it really does stand out, but it's a shame that like a lot of the studios kind of lost why people used to collect their posters.
I agree with that. I would love to see if a movie production company could release a movie with no trailer, just poster.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you get. You maybe get like the bottom credits of like who's in it,
Yeah.
who directed, who wrote it. But it's no trailer. It's just the poster. That's what's distributed everywhere. You do like this coming soon thing. Make it kind of old school. And so it creates this weird buzz of like, about what the fuck is this movie about?
Curiosity.
Yeah,
which is dead now in these,
Because you
based
watch
on the shit we've seen.
when you watch a trailer and you're like, okay, I know the whole movie. I know the characters. I know the twist in the movie, or what the what do you call it? The character, not the
Denouement?
antagonist.
Yeah.
There we go. And what the conflict is of the movie and how it gets resolved. You can figure it out. But if you just put out a movie with just the posters and people are just like, I don't know what this fucking movie is about, and it's coming out next week, I got to go see it.
Yeah.
I think that would be really interesting and would work well. And I'd love to see somebody who have the balls to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Or
would
the
be cool.
ovaries.
Hey, lady
Because
balls,
ladies can make posters too.
which is
And that's okay.
fine nowadays. But yeah, that is, I don't know, it's kind of cool. It's kind of a bummer.
It is.
It makes me want to make movie posters though, because I want to make something that I would want to go see. Like right now, we're just looking at a little thumbnail of The Silence of the Lambs. It has like Jodie Foster's face, but it's not a photo. It's like it's almost like a photo, like a Xeroxed photo. They Xeroxed it and blew out the white balance, and then like color the eyes, and it has that death's head moth over her mouth. And there are no indications of what it's about, but it looks creepy.
Which, if I'm correct, the death's head moth is actually the pattern in it, or on its back is actually people. If you look at the details of it.
Oh, is it that like classics?
Yeah.
Like the people crouching, making the
Details.
skull face.
Little details. It's effort.
Yeah, but
It's
then
like, it's like when you do a branding or whatever you do, and you've done some research and you put in little details that you're like, it's there.
Yeah.
And it has personality. And then people are like, I don't get it. And then they don't care and they don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you nailed it when it's like the curiosity's kind of gone.
Yeah.
And there's
that's
Moon.
the Moon poster.
Moon poster. God bless you, Moon.
It's got type treatments. It's got simplicity. It has an understanding of it's in space. There's loneliness. And it has a slogan on it.
Yeah.
250,000 miles from home. The hardest thing to face is yourself.
Which is, if you see it, you're like, oh, you little bastard.
He
And if you
does
don't
say
see it, you're like, okay, why?
Yeah.
And I know. I dig that one like crazy. Oh, it's 10 years ago. Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break, come back, and I have a quiz for you, young man.
Man.
All right. Bye.
I want to go home.
As soon as it's over, we'll go home. Now be quiet.
Quiet.
You be quiet, Big Nose.
Oh, look who's talking.
Hey, don't talk to me, kid, okay?
Hey, why don't you get Uncle Milty out of here so we can watch this thing?
You're stupid.
You're stupid.
You're more stupid.
You're much, much stupider.
No, not you are.
No, you are.
Don't speak to us again, all right? I'm warning you. I'm warning
You
you.
wouldn't be here in the first place if you didn't fire that nanny.
You wouldn't have to fire if some asshole didn't bribe her.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Welcome back. Yep. I hope you enjoyed that time away from us. Is now over.
As you notice, there's still no ads. Still $0.
Yep. And unrivaled success. And
I believe that's called Making It.
making it to Electric Boogaloo. But we put up a post for the show about our 20th episode, and I listed, what was it, like 20 episodes, 17 guests, 44 and a half hours, 900 dick jokes, and $0 made. And then at David Cusack on Twitter, who's a longtime listener and an all-around good dude, just said, only 900? And I said, yes, the rest were penis jokes. And he said, that checks out. So made me acutely aware of how often I probably scream dick into a microphone. And without dick and fart jokes, we're nothing, people. And speaking of stuff, dun dun dun. Now I know Marcus is an enthusiast of horror movies
and horror movies.
He loves a good.
Man.
Yep. Anytime Dame Judi Dench gets close to taking her shirt off, he's a Gene Creeman.
He's
so
he always has to say, "I'll be right back." We'll be right back after these short commercial breaks from the bathroom.
And that was a good time for me to take a drink.
Yeah.
So we have a movie poster quiz. Can Marcus name? It says only a film expert can name 14 to 17 of these horror movies from their posters.
Wouldn't it be 100% if you're a film expert?
You'd think so. But it made me curious, how many questions are there? If you get 14 to 17 right, are there 20 questions?
Oh, this is weird.
Time to start. Let's play the thing. All right. Oh, God damn it.
It is The Shining.
Yes, it's Jacqueline Nicholson. Correct. I hope the rest of it's not as... Oh, all right. So this one we have a tree with a noose and a house in the background.
This is...
We have It Follows, The Conjuring, or The Baby Duck.
Well, it's not The Baby Duck, and it's not It Follows, so it is The Conjuring.
Yay! So...
I actually thought that was... what's that movie?
Tron.
No, where the family moves into the house and the...
Amityville.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking.
Ryan Reynolds. Shout out.
Did you ever watch the original of that?
No. I barely watched the Ryan Reynolds one.
The original was better. Of course.
Also, everybody look back at, I think, Blade 3 and look at Ryan Reynolds' beard. It's made out of like just some defined geometric shapes. What a kook. And also, the first time he was ever really seen with his shirt off, and that dude is like a previously unified block of cheddar, because that dude is shredded.
Fuck. Blair Witch Project. There's no
Yeah. Oh, I played this video game. It sucks balls. It's terrible.
I'm not surprised. Did you find any stick?
Yeah, lots of sticks. Some of them taller than my foot, which meant I couldn't walk over them. I was stuck.
Oof.
So, for context for the folks listening, we're looking at these movie posters. They've had horror movie posters that have had the titles removed from them. So it's just the image to see. Even if, my curiosity was, even if you haven't seen the movie, could you recognize a poster? Because to me, that's the sign of a good design, is when it sticks in your mind, even if you've never engaged with that product or movie or whatever.
Potentially. Yeah. Silence of the Lambs.
Ham, ham, ham. Oh, yeah, it does have the little
Yeah.
ladies with the bombs. Silence of the Lambs. I've never seen a Saw movie. They look stupid.
They're not great. But yeah, they're okay.
But there's lots of them.
Yeah, I don't like the way that they're filmed.
It's like
I like the fast cuts. The filtering on it just drives me nuts. I wish it was filmed kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one, like really gritty.
Yeah.
If like Rob
Shaky
Zombie
as hell.
filmed them, they might be all right. Anyways, this is Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis and
sexy Joel Osment.
Yeah, who is now...
He looks like they took his face when he was a kid and shoved it in a large pumpkin.
What did I just recently see him in? He was in some show.
He was on Comedy Bang Bang, the TV show, for a bit. I know he's in like a few.
Is it The Boys Club?
It's got to be
on Amazon.
Oh, The
But
Boys?
the superhero? Yeah, The Boys.
That was good, right?
Yeah, he was really good.
All right, Sexy
Sixth
Sense. Next we have
Exorcist,
dude
1.
walking to a thing with a bag at night. This one we have Pumpkin and Knife.
Halloween.
Not Raw. Not Eddie Murphy's Raw.
Fuck. Child's Play.
Man.
Or Problem Child, depending on how you feel about it.
Oh, both of them my favorite Gilbert Gottfried
Problem
movies.
Child should have been an answer option.
Which is fair. He was problematic. Oh, we just saw this one.
Nightmare on Elm Street, Uno Mas.
And this one it's awesome. It's painted. It's not even Fred. It's like they did the art before they made the movie. Because the claws don't look anything like they do in the movie. The face looks like a demented, like it's really abstract. And
Maybe
it's
were
more
told
like
he looks like he has a burnt face.
Yeah, like it looks like a fleshy skull.
Mm-hmm.
But just like the lighting as it hits, like it's the teenage girl lying on her bed, like wide awake, staring up, and Freddy's claws coming over. But even the lighting coming from the moon onto like her pillow and sheets, like it's so well done. Like you can feel the texture of the sheets.
Yeah,
it's awesome. And another Johnny Depp film.
Was it?
He's a boyfriend, and he falls asleep on his waterbed, and then Freddy makes it look like there's a naked lady in his waterbed, and he has to save her, and then he gets jammed in the tummy by his knife hands. And but he survived and went on to star in 6 or 7 pirate movies. Ooh, this one's a bunch of zombies.
This is like Day of the Dead or Dawn of the Dead.
The Ring, no. Walking Dead, Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
Say
yeah.
Dawn, yeah, because Walking Dead's a TV show.
That's true. This is the found film for.
It's like a grainy video still of people. A couple in bed and their bedroom doors open,
It's
and
paranormal activity.
paranormal.
It was fine when the first one came out because it was not seen before. It was like Blair, this is dragging me to hell.
All right.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Don't need to see a lot of these answers. And
this one, and no hints, but it has a Mogwai's hands coming out of a box.
But even look at that poster, like
it's painted. It's awesome.
It gives you enough of like the creature's friendly, but you're not sure. There's something hidden there.
But also another one that was made before the movie was made, because Gizmo never appeared in a shoebox with holes. He was in that big, fancy, ornate wooden box they got from that store in Chinatown.
Yeah,
and then when he brought
sells frozen yogurt too.
Yeah, but they're also cursed. But yeah, it's like back then. It seemed like it was truly concept work. Where I wonder if they do that now. Still, they just take a still of the star's head and they bolt it on someone else's body and Photoshop it to get it pre-done.
Well, after this, you should try and look up Back to the Future posters that weren't ever accepted.
Yeah,
like the concepts, and some of them are really bad. Yes, this is Gremlins.
Yeah,
Poltergeist.
Yeah, little girl touching the TV. Did she die in real life of like drug overdose or something?
I feel like that was recent too, or maybe I'm mixing up things.
Oh, this one's got like Tim Armstrong as a skeleton and his punk girlfriend, and then a hand coming out of the grave, gonna probably spray painted the title of the movie on the tombstone.
Yes, it is. This is Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah. Thing. That is a cool poster. It's super like fractally, and it just feels cold, and it's just.
It also doesn't.
It doesn't give anything away.
It doesn't tell you. It doesn't give anything of what the monster is. You just don't know anything about it.
You can tell it's going to be cold, and someone's getting fucked up.
It's true.
And really, that's what you need. The Cult of Chucky. Man, these answers suck.
World War Z.
This is a cool poster.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like all the zombies, if you ever seen the movie, they like form, like they climb on top of each other to get to like climb walls. And it's not like they have a plan. They're just running and going nuts. But it's just them forming like a zombie tower trying to jump onto a helicopter, which is pretty rad.
This direction could sell a movie without a trailer because it gives you enough of an idea, especially with the title when it's on there. You know it's a zombie movie, and this tells you that they're not regular zombies. So now it's even more terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be
that's a good
great
poster. But look, bit of orange, bit of blue. It's subtle, but it's there. It's more of a modern one. Nosferatu. Jesus Christ. You guys don't sign up for the quiz of the day.
I got it.
No.
All 17.
Yeah, you're a genius. You are the horror master from
the whole master of horrors.
Yeah.
So if you look up Back to the Future, like poster concepts or rejected, Back to the Future poisoning. The fuck? Some of them were, of course, some of them were concepts.
There's one where it has like George McFly and the.
So he's like, he's falling through the photo.
It's like an old timey photo.
The DeLorean looks brown.
It is brown. That's a brown DeLorean, and it has Michael J. Fox like flying through the hole in it. Let's go to images.
Yeah. So that one is, he is hoverboarding or skateboarding away from the clock tower clock, but they've tried to include every scene from the movie or every pinnacle point to it. There's one, where he's coming out of a stopwatch, like a pocket watch, which doesn't make any sense. There's one where he's between his parents,
but it's just like it's almost like a pencil crayon drawing of like just their knees down.
And then the one to the left there where he's holding back time. Yeah. So he's holding back the time and looks really sad.
There's so much going on in here.
Yeah.
And then looking at that compared to what they went with him, like the gull wing DeLorean doors open and he looks like shocked and there's fire. Again, orange and blue. It's there, but it looks like what the movie is.
But what's really weird about this poster, and once you start looking at it, it feels like a Jerry King poster, is the way that the fire tracks are going.
Beside the car?
They're beside the car. They're too small. And the angle that the DeLorean's shown at doesn't look right.
Oh, it's impossible. Like you should see the back of it as well, but you don't.
So it's weird that you kind of just accept it, but when you look at the details, you're like, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Do you, having gone through this, do you have a favorite movie poster? Not just a movie poster, but maybe movie cover. And the only reason I ask this is I started thinking about it and thinking about like what had the biggest impact on me. And it was always as a kid going through the video store in the horror section, because the VHS covers were always so either scary looking or full of color or weird shit.
Yeah.
And you just pulled up Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. It's just like, in a way, it is a floating head poster, but it's like an oil painting, and it looks demented, and it's all red, and it doesn't give anything away other than
It doesn't.
It's just when you see the movie, there's so many things they could pull from to make a poster, but it's just like, no, it's Marlon Brando and Martin Sheen, and like it's both at night and it looks super hot. Like, it looks like a miserable place to be, which in the movie obviously it is.
Have you read or watched anything about how that shooting?
No, I want to watch that
was?
I want to watch that documentary.
What a pile of garbage he was. Just like rarely showed up, never read his lines.
Yep.
Was just fat and sweaty. Was overweight for the role by the time it came to it.
Yeah, but this one for me, just with the type, like, they could have just had the type, which is all like hand done and all that. They could have had that on just a red background, and that could have sold it too. Like, that type, it wasn't really common back then. It was like this big, splashy kind of evil thing, and I know it really stuck out for me. And I wouldn't have guessed what I would have said, like when you said, what's your favorite one, and this popped into my head.
Right.
It was like that. It just jumps out at me. What about you?
My favorite one, and this, like I was saying, this kind of goes back to being a kid in a video store, but I still like it to this day. It's still one of my favorites. Is Fright Night.
Oh, that is a good one.
The movie's, it's not bad. Fright Nighty.
That's got to be.
I don't want to know what that is. But also to be clear, the original Fright Night, not the Colin Farrell remake.
Oh, that's got to be good.
It was all right. It wasn't great though. But this one always intrigued me as a kid. Like it didn't make sense to me what was happening because I never watched it till I was older. Yeah. But I liked the art of it.
Yeah, it's really
it's just
cool.
The way that they wrote Fright Night as with fangs on it. Like, there's just it's an interesting piece. The colors are great. I like it.
Yeah, for those of you listening, it's just a painting of a house, and one light is on. You can see somebody's silhouette in the house, and then above it is all these clouds gathering, and it's just like, it's an insane person with giant fangs in the clouds.
Yeah, I mean, and that person is one of the demons in the movie. But if you compare it to the remake version poster, it's like, that's so boring.
It's the Colin Farrell floating head. Colin Farrell floating head. Colin head be hawk open, yeah.
Yeah, it was the floating head, but
then they made the type 3D.
It was the same kind of premise of a story, but the poster does nothing.
Yeah,
does absolutely nothing for you. You know he's the demon.
Yeah,
it's like, well, come on, let me figure out something.
Yeah. The horror movies definitely had like, what was it?
Ghoulies, the toilet.
That was
ones?
one. Was it The Howling? Not The Howling. Where's the one where it had the wolf mouth coming out of the woman's mouth?
Right. Wolf mouth. Yeah, I remember that. I never watched that movie though, I don't think. Man, I know exactly which one you're talking about. If you maybe look up best horror movie covers.
Yeah, we could easily take an hour and a half to find this thing.
But that one I need to know.
Oh, then one of my other favorite ones is like,
Dead Alive is pretty good.
Yeah, that one's good. But the one it's like my profile photo and a bunch of shit. It's like Oh,
is it like a high
prom
school?
night horror?
Right.
And it's like it's like a skull, but it's a cheerleader with like pigtails, and it's like she's turning over her shoulder. It's like, yeah, it's one of my favorite things.
Pet Cemetery is a really interesting direction as well.
Yeah,
it's
with
just
that.
like it's 2 scenes in it, but the paper's torn. It's not like the Stephen King part is all going in different directions, different sizes.
Oh, that one wasn't The Howling. Fuck. All right, I'll have to think about it. And and Critters was another good one.
They made to think 4 or 5 of those sequels.
Yeah,
I know exactly which
Correct.
one that you're referring to.
Yeah, because on the VHS, that was like, what the hell is that?
And it's not American Werewolf in London.
No, it's all right, I'm gonna try one last thing.
Woman, wolf, mout.
Yep.
Movie poster.
The microphone's in front of my face, and I can't type without looking, so you can all eat a bud.
Oh, yeah.
The Company of Wolves.
Right.
But this one is like more of a scene than the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. Also, House down below there, but
with the keys and stuff.
But
that
it was
House
just
too.
But it was just the hand, like ringing the doorbell.
Yeah, it was like It was like severed, and then House 2, it had a key or something. Yeah, those ones were crazy good. This one, The Company of Wolves.
Yeah.
It's just a woman's. And it's a painting. It's a woman's mouth, like completely stretched out, and then like a wolf's mouth is coming out of her mouth. I remember seeing that in the video store and like knowing I'm too young to probably not be fucked up by this movie, and I'm definitely too young for my parents to say, "Sure, we can rent that."
Right.
But yeah, that was a good one.
It does go back to. When we talked about the album covers, when I just cruise through Ardio and add, albums to my queue based on the cover, you do the same with the movies back in the day. You're like, this looks good. I hope it's good. It could suck ass, but you don't know.
Yeah.
So you got to go by the art.
Yeah.
And maybe a synopsis. I don't know.
But now, I mean, it's, I don't know. With like Netflix and shit, like how do you even stand out in that giant grid of crap?
Exactly. And like even now, if we're like trying to pick a movie, and I'm like, oh, what about this? Jen will say, well, I gotta watch the trailer first, see if I want to watch it. And then you usually watch the trailer, and A, you just watched most of the movie, or B, then you're like, oh, it looks like it's bad, and then you never get to experience it being bad. So it's weird. With
my lady on Halloween, our tradition is, because she gets like scared like a motherfucker from horror movies. She can't handle it. She doesn't like it. It's not pleasant for her
it becomes
at all.
real.
And she gets like actually frightened. Like the people that made the movie would love to watch her watch one of the movies. They're like, holy, look how fucking scared she's getting. She's crying. Like she doesn't like it. So what I proposed when we first got together was like, why don't we watch what we would consider a horror movie, like an Ashton Kutcher movie, or like something that is so horrifyingly bad that it shouldn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So now we watch like that Matthew McConaughey one is like My Girlfriend's Ghost or whatever. Like we'll line up a bunch of those to watch,
right?
Because those are worse they're not trying to harm you internally, but they still do,
right?
So yeah, it's like if every time like Mr. Rogers spoke, there's one kid out there that had a seizure. It's like he's not trying to do that, but it's pretty fucked up that it's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go there with you on that one.
Or Mary Hart. Yeah, she did that too.
On Entertainment Tonight?
Yep. Yeah, there's one lady that was complaining because every time she heard her voice, she went into seizure. And that's a fact we know because we're young. God, we're young. Speaking of young, social media is young. And if you want to find us on that social media stuff, or is there anything else you want to talk about?
Nope, that's it.
All right.
I'm done.
We're at Worst Design Show on internet outlets. You can find Marcus online at cheeseandcrackers.com. I'm at hotdog.org. And you can find the show, at worstdesignshow.com. You can go check out all of our shows. We write up descriptions of what we talk about. We post as many of the links and images and all that kind of crap about what we're talking about. Because we realize it is a visual medium, and it is # cleverly brought to you in a audio format, but we also realize it's kind of fucked up to do. So it's like having like a food podcast. Like, you can hear our eating sounds, but it tastes so good. Like you are missing a chunk. So we try to make up for that in the show description. So go check out all the crap that I can be bothered to link to. And we don't have any guests, so they don't have any plugs. Miles had plugs last time. That's our first guest plug.
Oh, yeah.
He had 2 bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of cool.
We should get a cut of those ticket sales.
Yeah, or at least get a ticket.
Fuck.
That one where he has like the whole like music recorded and it plays and he does like the death metal vocals. I'd be into that.
I'd be curious to see that.
Yeah, might be all right. But yeah, so thanks again for listening. If you're just joining us, the show's over. And yeah, thanks a lot for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks and making pictures for living ain't that bad. Bye.